Ayy, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. When I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. You know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and they talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
Yes, we back. We back like it's we just back. I don't know.
Like we never left?
Yeah, back. Well, I don't know because we did leave.
I mean, but it feels like we never left.
That's true. It does feel like we never left. It does feel that way.
Did you shower?
If I got to think about it, I probably haven't showered recently.
That
I'm just kidding.
nasty.
I'm just
that
kidding.
Is nasty. Why?
I have showered.
How would you not shower?
Wait.
Today.
For the 20-year-olds, pause. Because somehow I have to pause that.
No, that's not pause. Key, you can't. No, that's not pause.
Okay.
That's not pause.
I passed.
Peeking like crazy. You can back up from the mic a little bit there.
I'm not that close to the mic.
You don't got to be kissing the mic.
I'm not close to the mic.
All right. Anyway, welcome to the Post Podium Podcast. Home of the all truth, no sodium takes. We got a lot to get to today. I'm your co-host Aramis.
This Key.
It's your boy Melly Mac.
And so we're just gonna go ahead and jump right in. We have a structure now. I like this. This is gonna be a much more easily consumed product, and that is so much better for business. So check it out. So we're gonna start off with a segment we like to call Stuff We Heard. And this is a segment where we basically just go through, different, smaller tidbits of news. It doesn't have to be breaking news or anything like that, but it's just stuff that we thought was noteworthy that we want to bring up, and we'll talk a little bit about it. And then after that, we'll go through, all of our other segments, and I'll make sure we name them, as we go along, so you know what they are and all that kind of stuff.
Look at him being so professional.
Well, this is part of getting us onto TV. I mean, eventually,
2024 is coming.
I don't know about y'all, but I would love to be able to do this professionally. You know what I mean? But so with that being said, what have we heard, fellas?
I heard a lot of gripes and complaining.
Gripes and complaining?
A lot of gripes and complaining.
I think you texted something about that too, right?
There's some gripes and complaints, yeah.
So the biggest gripe that I heard was same old Bills, can't close out the bad teams, play down to their level, blah, blah, blah. Heard it. So on Monday's show, you asked what was my concern. My concern was turnovers and them being a dangerous team because they had nothing to play for. I should have followed my first mind or my gut. As my mom told me, always follow your gut or your first mind is usually right. It was right, so it was right. But, yeah, a lot of gripes and complaints.
Well, let me ask you this, though. When we talk about following your first instinct, do you think that we were not as good a team in comparison to the Chargers, or were we just overlooking the Chargers?
I would say we overlooked them, and we didn't take in consideration what they had to play for. Because, again, they're not playing for playoffs. They're not playing for none of that. They're playing for, we are the Chargers and we the NFL team. Like, don't just write us off because we're playing the Bills and they're on the hot streak.
And they playing for their livelihood. They're playing for a job.
Don't write us off because our coach just got fired, our GM just got fired, and we ain't got our #1 wide receiver or quarterback. Like, we could still ball.
Right. I mean, their coaches got fired and their players are injured, but I think what we should have seen was still a better team playing against an inferior team. The Chargers have a bad offensive line. They have a bad defense. We should have mollywopped, as you predicted, that team, no matter what they wanted to play for. Yeah. That was that was an example, again, of a team playing down to the level of opposition. Yeah. So what I worry about in that instinct is, I think what people are griping for, even I'm not going to gripe about it because we won.
Right.
My issue with that is that when we play against the Ravens, if we ever play against the 49ers, we play against the Bengals again with Joe Burrow, what team are we going to see?
Right.
Because once again, we've seen an inconsistent team performance that week over week.
So you guys are probably going to hate me for this.
I will not.
Do you think this has something to do with the coach? Because hear me out. Hear me out.
I didn't see that coming this time. That's why I laughed. That's why I laughed. I didn't see it coming this time. You caught me blindsided.
So here's what I mean. Brandon Staley leaves out the door, and this is a completely different team. right? And so it kind of makes me think that these instances where, it seems like the Bills overlook the opponent, they didn't do that against the Cowboys. They didn't do that against the Dolphins when they first played them earlier in the season. They didn't do that against some, the what was supposed to be the better teams that they've gone against, right? The Chiefs, like, even though they struggled in that game, that's the number 2 defense in the league that they went against. So yeah, they were going to struggle on offense, right? So I'm saying all this to say that, is it possible that we're still seeing some remnants of Sean McDermott's effect on the team? Because if the head coach can affect the team as much as Brandon Staley leaving affected the Chargers, isn't it just as justifiable that something to what Sean McDermott is doing or not doing, or maybe he's tight in the building, and maybe that's or maybe I should say maybe he's too lax when they're going against bad teams, and maybe that's causing the team to be what they are. I mean, I think the Bills have shown to this point that they've been a pretty good window into what their head coach is desiring to be. When Sean is tight, the team is tight. Now that he's loosened up, that you can see the team plays a little bit more free. There's a little bit more creativity. There's a little bit more camaraderie on the sidelines. More people are talking, stuff like that. But what do you guys think about that?
So I would say a little bit, because, like, for example, even our thoughts on the Friday show, where I was really looking at the roster, like, who we scared of? Like, what is they going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy. So I think that's part of it. The other side of it is, what do you really got to look for as far as planning-wise? Because there's not a lot of tape on Easton Michael Stick. There's not a lot of, you know what I'm saying? So what was the game plan? What was the scheme? Like, what was he trying to do against the Chargers? And when you think about it, for the most part, I don't think they played a bad game.
I agree with that.
Like, they had 3 turnovers and they still won.
Yeah.
They only allowed 1 touchdown the whole game. So in my eyes, I think they played like they're supposed to. They got down. The better team won because they were the better team.
True. Key, what you think?
Well, I do think they played a bad game. I really do.
Okay.
I think the defense was porous. I think they allowed Johnson to get off. They allowed too many uncontested passes. Austin Eckler showed up again. And I think that they could have done a better job tightening that up. They only missed 9 tackles, so I'm not going to go too far into it in terms of the technical. I just think the scheme was off for what we had to face on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think the only thing I disagree with, I don't think the Bills played badly. I think I'm a little bit closer to what Tramel was saying. My perspective is this. I think the Bills did exactly what they needed to do to win the game. And when I stepped away from the end of that game, maybe an hour later, I think I settled on that perspective as how I felt about it. We did exactly what was needed to win the game. Did we play our best? No, that was not our best. But when you talked about the matchups, that's the part I agree with, because I think Kellen Moore as a passing game coordinator is elite. I think he's very, very good at drawing up passing schemes that can beat defenses. And you could see in the game when they were really getting rolling with Easton Michael Stick and throwing for 20-yard passes like consecutively and stuff like that, it forced the Bills to have to start playing a little bit more man, right? And the Bills are not a man team by any means at all, right? Mm-hmm. And, there were even times in the fourth quarter where we were trying to stop them and get the ball back so that we can get ahead, where they missed it on a couple of third downs because they were playing man coverage and they got beat. So it to me, schematically, it was more so about what the Chargers were able to dictate to the Bills defense, more so than the Bills defense just flat out playing badly. You know what I mean? Because I think when it comes to the run, the Chargers, weren't great. They got off, maybe 1 or 2 solid runs, but the Bills were able to shut that down. You know what I'm saying? So run defense, I think, was great. It was exactly what it needed to be, and it was exactly what it was supposed to be. But I think the passing offense, I mean, you're kind of deficient. You're down Micah Hyde, right? Terrell Bernard gets hurt in that game, and you're forced to put Dodson out there on key downs to play coverage. you take Poyer is not really your best coverage safety, and Taylor Rapp is worse than Poyer is. You know what I mean? And
he's a hitter. He's a hitter. He's not a coverage guy.
Right. So no disrespect to those guys, but that is what it is at this stage in their career. And you add into that, I think Benford got hurt right at one point, so now he comes back in. I'm sure he's playing the rest of that game still hurt because that's what you do in the NFL, right? So I just think the defense, for as beat up as it was, to just be able to manage and do just enough to get it to the garage, for me, it was like, you know what? A win is a win is a win. Yeah. I'll take it, even for the offense. Yeah. The offense is the unit that I think kind of got caught off guard.
So what would you grade the defense if you had to give them a grade?
Well, before we want to park that and keep going because we're getting into the game already. Yeah. We're getting to the game already. So let's park that for now.
Now who's Geraldo?
I'm letting y'all go. I'm like, hold on a second.
Hold on, reel it back.
So no, other things that we've heard. Stephon Diggs all over the place. Stephon Diggs, a detriment. Stephon Diggs, a liability. Stephon Diggs.
You did say you texted me.
So I'm not going to say Stephon Diggs is playing within the framework of the offense because clearly, his numbers have dropped dramatically since Joe Brady has taken the helm. But what do you attribute to that? I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's
so why people are saying Diggs?
Why Diggs' productivity has dropped so dramatically?
So you know what the crazy thing is? I was looking at the stats on the targets. He's getting the same amount of targets he had when Dorsey he was balling like those first couple games.
Yep.
So it's not like they're not scheming him in the game. He's scheming in the game. I don't know. I don't know if he's running different routes that he doesn't like or he's not used to. But that's crazy to me that you're getting the same amount of targets, but just your productivity is just down.
Well, his average yards per target is way down.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind at least 2 to 3 times a game they're throwing that bubble screen.
So he's running shorter routes.
Yeah, absolutely. And on third downs, he's running the underneath routes. And he's got they have Davis running the clear outs. And then they have Shakir is that mid-range guy, where Josh is typically looking to get the ball, right? That's why you see Shakir's numbers skyrocketing the way they have the past few weeks because that's their big play guy right now.
After 2019, this is his lowest his career average yards per target.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Now, from a schematic standpoint, I mean, what do you guys think about that? Because the justification that I could see the Bills making is, well, do we want to have Diggs running, a big play route when he's going to be double covered anyway? Why not keep the double cover? Geez, my English today. Why not keep the double coverage? There we go. I got it. Underneath, so that we have guys like Shakir with much more space, further down the field, or Davis further down the field.
That might be Brady's game plan. His train of thought is, like you said, we already know they're going to double him.
Yeah.
Like it's not a secret. You're going to double him. So how to prevent that? How do you stop that? Have him run less routes or have other people do the deeper route. So maybe that's part of why his production and his yards per catch is going down.
Yeah. Dorsey was fired after Denver, right?
Yes, after the Denver debacle.
So actuality, his targets have gone way down. He's had 2 double figures target games since Dable took over. Brady took over. Before that, he only had 2 games where he wasn't targeted more than 11 times.
So the start that I saw was before he got fired, he had 66 targets. After that, before the Dallas games, he still had 66 targets.
Let's see. We'll run it down. Before Denver included 5 targets, Cincinnati 7, Tampa 12, New England 12, New York Giants 16, Jacksonville 11, Miami 7, Washington 12, the Raiders 7, Jets 13. After Dorsey's fired, you're looking at 8, 11, 11, 5, and 8.
And then again, too, one was that Dallas game where he only threw the ball 15 times.
Right.
So, I mean, you look at, like I said, I figured he would have not as many yards, and when we talked about the productivity. A jumped on us because we had regular numbers.
Why y'all so low?
What are y'all expecting?
Man, this should be a blowout, man.
Well, it should have been. But, I mean, that's the thing. You look at yards per touch. down. Everything is down after Brady took over, and you got to give me grace because I'm going to either say Dorsey or Dable so much it's not even funny.
Everybody's English is off today.
Right. So I mean, the thing is, he's still doing his job, but I'm wondering what the offense is because you haven't heard Diggs, Diggs, and he kind of angst from him or people that talked to him in regards to his utilization after Dorsey got fired. But the numbers are what they are. I mean, he hasn't had 100 yards. His highest output after Brady took over was a 74-yard game against Philly. Outside of that, he hasn't topped 50 yards. He hasn't topped 48 yards.
I mean, I could go the Nick Wright route and just say the Bills are practicing for the playoffs. I know I played around with that idea a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And to your point about that, I can go with that now because the weekend that we just had worked in every. I mean, I got called out. My man called me out. Yo, I thought you knew what you were talking about. You said the Bills had. I said, dude, they were 14% chance of getting in like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But after everything that happened, now they're 90 or 86%, I think, getting in.
Yep.
So you go from 11th with no shot in hell to getting to possibly 2.
Yep.
And I'm like, whatever. I mean, 2 is a long shot.
But, right. And like, again, who foresaw the collapse of the Chiefs?
Right.
Who foresaw the Cowboys playing as terribly as they have, away from home? I mean, at the beginning of the season, when we went through and did all these numbers, I counted a lot of these, later in the season games as losses. Chiefs was supposed to be a loss. Cowboys for sure was supposed to be a loss. Based on the teams that they were last year, right? And the Cowboys technically are playing better this year than they did last year.
Well, one of us is going to be right.
Yeah, I mean,
one of our preseason predictions is going to be right.
Right, and it's probably me. But no, I think you had a better record. Didn't you?
I had 10-7. You had 11-6.
Oh, I did have
because you were like, what? I'm more optimistic than you are.
They have to have 11-6. They have to
do what?
In order to make the playoffs. Because even if
they can do it 1 now.
Huh?
They can do it 1 win. They can do it as long as they don't lose out. They're good.
Because
we had a lot of help.
Yeah, a whole lot of help.
KC
so
lost.
Yeah.
Steelers beat who they played?
The Bengals.
The Bengals.
Yeah.
They lost. The only ones that didn't go in our favor was the Cleveland one and the Miami game.
Yeah.
But all the other ones,
everything else that
what to root for, it all happened.
Yeah. So technically, we're in as long as we don't lose out. If we win either one of these.
So at the very least, we'll make the wild card.
Yeah, it will be a
But
wild
if we
card.
win out, we can win the division.
Take the division. If we win out,
you realize if we
division.
win out, we'll be the number 2 seed.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We went from 11 to 2.
I mean, that's insane to think after everything that's happened, we could still be the 2 seed.
It sucks, though, because since they added the 17, the second place team
we
don't
get
the
a
bye.
bye.
That sucks.
I just really want to get in.
But that's 2 home games.
I just want to get in.
But here's the thing.
No
So let me ask you this. Whether we play the wild card or win a division, as I'm looking at it, don't we? No matter what, we still play Miami, right? It's just if we play them
Not
here.
necessarily.
No,
Not necessarily.
if we get the 2 seed, then we play the 6, right?
Two
play 7.
2 play 7.
Yeah, so we play who is that now? Who's the 7 now?
Because we would just swap with Miami. If we win the division, they would just swap places.
Well, no, right. So right now, Miami's
Miami's
the
number 2
second seed right now. Yeah,
so we can go. We can go anywhere. What do you say? 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 6, pretty much.
Okay.
But I just had it. I just looked at it.
I got it here.
Because I was gonna say, do you want to play? Would you rather play Miami in Miami with the weather, or would you rather play them at home?
Honestly, it doesn't matter to me.
Right? I don't think
really
it matters.
I mean, I don't want to do it again just because of last year. But we honestly couldn't we see the Chiefs in the first round?
Nope.
No,
I thought we could.
They're division leader.
They'll still win the division. Well, they might not. They might
That's what I'm
not.
saying. If they lose out, or if they
might go
one
to
of
the
these
wild
2,
card.
Yeah. So we potentially could see the Chiefs.
Right. Okay. So we have for the AFC. The number 1 seed is the Ravens. Number 2 is the Dolphins. Number 3 is the Chiefs. 4 is Jaguars. 5 is Browns. So the Colts right now sit at 7.
It's Colts, okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of movement there.
Yeah,
you can see any of those other teams pop in there.
I think
I know Z-Bot from Buffalo Fanatics. He's on one about Dallas and Miami. He called it the paper A Tigers or something like that. He said, "I hate you. I hate both of your face." I'm like, wow, this dude had vitriol. This dude had a lot of malice over this game. But I mean, Dallas is just not good. Can we just say that Dallas is not good?
They're great at home.
They're good
and
at home.
They're 10-5.
Yeah,
7-5.
They're 10-5.
10-5. Yeah, I mean they're just not. If you can't win away from home, you're just not good.
I think is like, to me, they're right on par with Miami. Like, they beat the bad teams. We'll put it this way: they blow out the bad teams.
Yeah,
and they barely beat, if not lose, to the good team.
And that's another one of those teams that Miami and Dallas this year are not good.
Yeah,
you know, I put Miami over Dallas, but not by a lot. Like you said, I would compare them. You know, but yeah, I think as long as we get in and we don't have to play the Bengals. We're good. I don't know where Joe Burrow is. I think Jamar Chase is out, so that helps too.
Yeah, NFL.com has us at 87% to make the playoffs.
87%, yeah.
Colts are at 53%. They still have the Texans on the bubble, tied with them at 8-7. The Steelers are now 8-7, but they only have a 17% chance of making it.
We would get knocked out if we lost one in the Steelers or somebody else won out.
Yeah. The Bengals have a 23% chance. So right now, the Texans is pretty much the only team that I think you have to worry about if you lose one.
Yeah, we have to. If Miami wins, and guys, I hate doing it. Where's my camera? Right there. I hate doing this because it's behind the lights. I can't see it. And I'm like, where are you? I hate these playoff because I feel like if you don't get in there without the numbers, I don't even want to talk about it.
If you ain't get on your own merit.
Yeah, I hate
not like I won because they lost.
Right?
So that got me.
Y'all don't want to say that. Y'all don't want to say that.
No,
y'all understand the jetpack y'all putting on my back right now. Right?
I hate it.
Like, I just want y'all to understand.
I want you to understand that I hate it.
Like, okay. So to be clear, what y'all saying is Sean McDermott is really not that dude.
No, he's
not. What I'm saying is the numbers don't matter.
If you're supposed to be discredited, if you're supposed to not get credit for backing into the playoffs, then technically Sean McDermott didn't end the drought for the Buffalo Bills. The Bengals did.
No, he did.
Can we
wait 2 more years?
Can we be real?
Just gotta wait 2 more years. He did.
True.
Huh?
Just wait 2 more years and he did.
No.
2019, he did it.
Yeah, but to Ace point, like the drought, technically we won it on Andy Dalton.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like,
and Tyler Boyd.
And I hated it. No.
They got us in.
And you guys know.
The Ravens let us in too. Like, thank God the Ravens didn't stop that last play.
And didn't I text y'all? I hate this.
Yep.
I text y'all. I hate this.
Yeah. Because you know what? And now that it's coming full circle, I really understand Keyshawn's point now because, it was so good to get in, but now, as we talking about it right now, it's 2023. We ain't even get in on our own merit.
Right, you got in the punk way.
Right. That's like when we beat the Patriots in Gillette Stadium. You're like, oh yeah, our first win there. Brady ain't play. Right. They were rushing their starters. It was the last game of the season.
It's asterisks.
I don't care. Right. I don't want an asterisk. The Bills are known as an asterisk naturally.
Right. Oh yeah, 100%.
They're a national asterisk. I hate that.
Now, like Keyshawn said, if the following year when they won the division, they broke the playoff drought, that's something different because man, you broke the playoff drought. You won the division. You got yourself in there.
And when he stays, McDermott would have been fired in 2018, and we would have to talk about any of this.
Man, listen, did I tell you the numbers?
What?
Sean McDermott in his first 2 years as head coach has the same record as Doug Marrone and Rex Ryan. They both went 15 and 17 in their first 2 years.
Now, so I'm not. I'll give him a pass on year one.
Yeah,
because he
they went to playoffs that year.
But
they got backed in.
They got backed in, but he didn't have a lot to work with his first year. So I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit on his first draft.
Here we go.
Okay.
So that second year,
oh boy.
Now he's definitely out. Whatever you did on that second year, that's on you. But that first year, I'll give him a pass on the first
year. He
year.
went 6 and 10 that second year.
Guess what? You can take a nap now. He gonna take off.
He went 6 and 10 that second year. You put more gas in the jetpack.
Nope, because that was Josh Allen's rookie year. That was his rookie year.
No,
Josh Allen's rookie year.
No, yeah, that's fine. But again, like so year one, you fire the offensive coordinator that you hired as a rookie NFL head coach.
Here we go.
Right? Then you go into the second year with another offensive coordinator that, to my knowledge, had only done the job one other time.
Who was this? Roman?
Daboll.
What was Daboll? Okay.
Yeah, so the first year was Rick Dennison.
Got you.
And Rick Dennison ran that Mike Shanahan zone run scheme, West Coast offense style of play, right?
The reason why, and we talked about this, and I'm going to cut you off, Junie. We've sat through this already, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole.
No. But no, seriously, the reason why Dennison doesn't matter to me because when he hired McDermott, he had a defensive coordinator, and it took him forever to hire an offensive guy. Yeah. Forever. Yeah. All we had left was this guy that was in Denver at some point that nobody wanted. He was sitting there with his ball like, yo, can I just get in one time?
Yeah.
We'll give you one. Yeah. They gave him one, and they went and got somebody on time the next time.
Yeah.
Right.
They went and got a player, a coach the next time. So, I mean, whatever. Dayball was a flyer, like you said. He only did it one time before,
and it was really based off of the recommendation of Nick Saban because that's where Dayball was. He was up under Saban. You know what I mean? So, if you're into conspiracy theories, that reflects more on Sean McDermott's, what I believe has been Sean McDermott's perspective of trying to recreate what Bill Belichick did.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
You go after a guy who is friends with Bill Belichick and Nick Saban.
Learned from him.
And you take a guy who was coached under. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that 100%.
Yep.
But yeah. So okay. Did we cover the Stephon Diggs thing? I have
no idea anymore. I think we've exhausted it. I don't know if we covered it, but we've exhausted it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. What else we got? Stuff we heard.
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
Nothing else.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for stuff we heard. We're going to move on to a segment where we go through the offensive observations from the game and the defensive observations for the game. We're going to start with the offense. Who wants to go first?
That would be me.
All right. Let's go.
Man,
what you got?
Okay.
So if I had to get an offensive grade, I'm giving him a B.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. Josh Allen was 70% passing. He missed, 6 passes? Every touchdown we scored came from who?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. So kind of like we were talking about last time, what do you need to see from the Bills? And, me and Keith said, the run game will be great because we already know what Josh can do. Mm-hmm. We already know what he's going to do. And what he do? 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown, right? That's what Josh did. He did.
Did Josh have any turnovers?
Josh had an interception.
Okay.
And then it was the 2 fumbles.
Okay.
Right?
One was special teams, so let's
we don't count special teams?
No, because a lot of people were saying that because you're talking about offense right now, so we got to make it clear.
All right,
but a lot of people were saying that Cook fumbled twice, which is not true, but we'll get into that in a moment.
Oh, yeah.
You don't think so?
No.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Because technically it was only 3 turnovers total.
Yeah.
So that fumble or not fumble, it wasn't a turnover.
Right. Correct.
So that's
So I mean, I guess in the stat sheet, technically,
I just want to get that
on the videotape. He dropped the ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he was down, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, right. That's what the game says. Not the tape.
So I'm giving the offense a B because his numbers were Josh Allen passing numbers, right? Touchdown, 1 interception, 70% passing, and he had 3 dimes. Three dimes in the game. So I'm a rewind the dimes. The first one was that beautiful pass to playoff Gabe.
We're not pointing at
playoff.
We're not pointing at.
He threw it. Go look at the replay. Perfect spiral, in route, perfect pass. Right. The second one
on the run. That's what you want to say. On the run.
Yeah.
On the run.
Pocket.
Okay. Yeah.
That's important.
Second one was the pass to Shakir, my AKA Tupac. When he backed up, he had 3 people in front of him. I'm like, me and Keisha was watching. I'm like, how did he make that throw? He's getting flushed out. 3 people chasing him. He throws it, boom, right to Shakir. That's when he got up and everybody thought that he made the touchdown, but they touched him and they look at the review. He was touched.
Okay.
Beautiful pass. And the third pass was the dime he did to Diggs on the out route.
You on the 3rd and 11?
Beautiful pass. So Josh Allen, to me, he played like Josh Allen, like he's supposed to play. Yeah. And the reason why I'm also giving it a B is because they gave our boy, Let James Cook, 20 carries again.
And they didn't bench him after he fumbled. Like that to me.
That tells me, and I told you when we were watching, I said it was Dorsey. It was Dorsey.
Benching him?
Yeah, because what has changed? He's been benched in in less pressure situations.
Yeah.
Well, I
He
mean,
got put right back in the
after
game.
the Cowboys game, and he starts like. So my theory was
He just blew up, and he was like, "All right, we got
right.
to
Like he's a star now, so you can't bench a star.
See,
like
I'm
you're
a
going to get a whole heck of a lot more blowback from the press and everybody else. You know, national media. Why are you benching this guy when he just did what he did for you against the Cowboys?
I'm a Cook fan, and I still think that he would have got benched had Dorsey been here. I do because honestly, it was a bad.
Dorsey strikes you as a guy that wants to bench somebody.
No, but nothing else changed in the organization besides Dorsey, and in that situation, that warrants a benching. And I'm a Cook guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You fumbled in a situation where you could have lost us the game.
Yeah.
And you've been benching him all year long for less.
Right.
What changes now?
Well, I think so. To that point, I get what you're saying, but I think if you look at, and you've mentioned this in the last episode, Sean McDermott is putting on a different face than he has since before the Chiefs game, right? Before the Chiefs game, it was, listen, I'm gonna do what I want. Y'all can say what y'all want. Ain't nothing gonna change. I don't even really feel like answering y'all questions. I might think about answering one or two of them. You know,
You gonna trust the process?
Exactly right.
You gonna trust the process?
You know, but now, like you said, you know, Sean is doing everything short of putting you on his lap and stroking your hair. Like it's a night and day difference. So if like I could also say that could be the difference. You know what I mean? The report coming out and putting him on blast the way that it did with his character and his coaching and the way that he runs the team. I think that's a big difference too. So if I'm Sean McDermott at that point, I don't want any negative perspectives. And on top of that, I got a guy who basically just blew up overnight against the Cowboys nationally. And I'm already still trying to salvage my image. I can't bench that guy anymore if I want to continue to try to rebuild this image that I'm trying to rebuild.
I mean, I don't know. I think in a situation where you have to win or you go home and lose your job anyway, after one game against a bad defense, as we've seen, because they did it again this past week against Miami, I still think that warranted a benching. I really do. I mean, and furthermore, you look at the snap count. You know, Latavius Murray had 7 snaps, didn't register a stat. Leonard Fournette had 10 snaps on offense. He ran for 3 yards a carry, I believe. 5 yards a carry, I believe. But you know, it rings true in that situation to go back to Cook and put him back on the field and give him the ball again right away.
Right.
That's not just one step from where we were. That's like that's a mountain. You know, that's great strides past where we were in the past. So. I mean, I'll give kudos for that. I do think, you know, and I didn't want to cut in, but yeah, that video for the first fumble was conclusive. He did not fumble the ball. Yeah. His knee was down before it came out. Now the second one, that was kind of like the one we had. What was it? The Eagles game? Was it the Eagles where the guy like pulled the ball out of him? Was that the Eagles?
It was at home for that one.
Bronco,
I want to say that was the Denver game.
Bronco?
Yeah.
I think that was the Bronco game.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was there in the sense. I'm like, they can put my man Cook back in.
Yeah. And I don't know. Go ahead. Go with your
I'm giving him a B. And then the only takes that I had was the 3 turnovers, which one was the special teams I didn't like, and the other thing was time of possession. They had the ball longer than we had. So that I don't like. Like, if you want to dominate the game, you gotta win that battle. Yeah. To me, in my opinion, you got to win the time of possession battle.
Right.
We want the ball as long as possible.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So overall, I'll give him a B.
Okay, Key.
If I'm giving a offensive grade, I'm probably gonna go lower than Mac. I'm probably gonna go maybe C minus.
Okay.
I mean, Josh Allen was good, but offensive line was not great. You know, they did surrender a lot of hurries, a lot of pressure. Run game wasn't there, so I attribute some of that not opening holes for James Cook, because as we've seen in weeks past, give him a crease he can find it and he goes. And the fact that we only targeted 5 receivers. With no running backs, you know, we had Dalton Kincaid got 1 catch for 7 yards or something like that. Yep. Yeah. I didn't like that because that's not the formula that got us where we are now. Right. You know, so you know, we talked about Diggs already, but you know, if he's gonna surrender 4 for 130, that's kind of fluky to me. The numbers are gaudy, but I like to see more volume. Yep. If you're gonna have 100 yards, I want to see more than 4 catches. I don't like the 57. It's nice to have a 57 yarder if you're going for 200 yards or something crazy. Right. But if you're gonna take over the slack for the number one guy or whoever it is, you need to have, in my eyes, 7 to 9 catches at least.
More consistent.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a boomer bust player. And as we talked about already, they have nothing on defense. So I expected somebody to go off. And we talked about maybe Kincaid having a big game. Yep. Spencer Brown, I'll give him kudos because he handled Khalil Mack pretty nicely, and he wasn't given a lot of help. I don't know if you guys noticed that. He was pretty much on the island by himself, so they're trusting him more and more. Dawson. Here I go again. Dawson Knox.
DK2.
Right, DK1, DK2. Or Dude Kincaid. The overarching thing here is somebody had to step up and be a volume guy. Khalil Shakir could be that guy, but when I look at this team, I looked at that game as a game of inches. That was my thing for the whole game. The James Cook fumble, the Shakir touchdown that wasn't going on defense. I'll just mention it right now. We'll talk about it later because I got some stuff to say. Maybe not. The Taron Johnson personal foul on Everett, the hit. Yeah. I mean, inches off of a clean hit. So this was a game of inches, and we won, but I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good about how we won. We were a 12.5-point favorite. That's unheard of in NFL.
On
and
the road too, yeah.
Yeah, when you see that, you're like, you're not betting that. Right. So I felt like the fact that we gave up, we had, what do we have? We had 7 penalties in this game. We had, like Mike Mel said, time of possession, 26 minutes. It just didn't feel good. If you told me we were going to rush for 105 yards and throw for 237, I'd be like, yeah, okay. That's not going to be a game we win.
No, I think so. Are you all?
Like, for now.
Okay. All right. I think if I would have heard those stats, I could conceive a way where the Bills win with that. I mean, obviously, my thought process in that would be the defense did a much better job than what they really did this past Saturday. But I think from my grade for the offense, it's tough. It's tough because some of the plays that Josh made were very vintage. And while I do have a strong appreciation for that, I like seeing things like what I saw against the Cowboys, where you find matchups within the game, you find advantages within the game, and you continue to strike until they show that they can stop it. And so for that, I think I'm going to give the offense a D because here's why. Hear me out.
I can go with that. I mean, it's valid. He might have a problem, but I'm not going to say a thing.
D's failing. That's fail.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think it's a fail because I think they failed to do to the Chargers what the Chargers were successful in doing to the Bills, which is dictating to that defense. We had enough weapons, and their offense was deficient so many weapons, but their scheme is what won in terms of being able to make plays against our defense, right? And I'm talking about when I see 2 consecutive 20-yard passes, when I see our inability to stop them from scoring. I mean, there were times where they were passing the ball at will, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, when I'm looking at how our offense performs against their defense, I had the mindset we should have seen the same thing. At the very least, if their offense was going to perform the way that it did, it should have been a shootout. And it really wasn't. It was our offense giving away the ball 3 different times and our defense playing out of their mind when it really counted. Like when we had to have it, the defense showed up. There were other times in the game where, it would have benefited us, greatly still to be able to shut them down, but it didn't happen. But when we had to have it, the defense was there. And offensively, it just, I didn't get the impression that there was a well drawn up scheme to take advantage of matchup advantages, right? And what I mean by that is we talked about this on Friday. One of the biggest matchup advantages was our tight ends versus their middle linebackers. Nobody took advantage of that. Our running backs versus their linebackers. Nobody took advantage of that. They have another safety not named Derwin James that we could have taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to try and get the ball to Gabe Davis playing against Asante Samuel. Now that just happened to work out because it was a broken play. Right. But we should have been able to hit stuff like that on design plays, not broken stuff. And it seemed like the stuff that worked the most against the Chargers was all broken play stuff. And that's the same kind of thing that I've seen from Lamar Jackson all season. And we're about to crown him the MVP because that's what he's done with a lot of offensive injuries to his receivers. His tight end is now gone for the rest of the season, but he was down, at a couple of times during the season. And so all of his stats, when you look at it, you say, man, he's played great. Well, yeah, a lot of it is broken stuff. You know what I mean? When we saw Lamar play, what was it, last night? When he played the 49ers, you can give him that crown now because against that defense and the way that he played last night, he did it on design plays, right? He was successful on design plays, and even when the defense stepped up and did their thing, he still made a play, right?
I just wanted to add to your point about the tight ends. This was the lowest output of the season target-wise for Kincaid and the second lowest output of the season for Knox. So there's your point of trying to use tight ends.
They talked they talked about during the game how where's the place to cook,
right?
Like you destroyed what's supposed to be a really good defense in the Cowboys with 2 plays to cook, and then towards the end of the game after you had already worn them down, now Cook starts to give you the big runs.
Right.
So schematically. I think this was more of a coaching thing than a player thing. I think the players themselves did the best they could within the scheme that was drawn up. But I give the offense as a whole a D because without a great scheme, we've seen now, without a great scheme, it makes it really hard for this team that doesn't really have more than maybe 3 strong playmakers to really go win a game for you.
And for context, this is the second most carries that James Cook's had this season. Yep. This is only the second game this season outside of the Giants game where he didn't have a target.
What was his yards per carry average?
3.5.
3.5, yeah.
Well, he's typically right up there around 5.
Around 5. His average is almost 5.5.
Yeah, so bad offensive line play. I mean, I agree with that part too. I don't know why you didn't help out Spencer Brown as much as you possibly could. You've done that with just about every other good pass rusher that's gone against Spencer Brown. You did it against Max Crosby, and you decided that Khalil Mack was not worth it?
I can tell you Spencer wasn't the problem. Osiris was bad yesterday.
Oh, really?
Osiris was bad yesterday. Deion was bad yesterday.
Wow.
So yeah, and I'm gonna give you the honest because I like Osiris Torrance. So yeah, but no, Osiris was pretty bad yesterday, and Deion again. So no, Spencer actually did really well against Khalil Mack. He actually did better against Khalil Mack than he did against Micah Parsons. So
I guess
hats off to him.
I saw too many.
You're used to it. No, you're conditioned to it.
No, it's not just that. Like I seen a few times where Josh was like flush to his left, and you know what I mean, like or
probably from Torrance. Honestly, it's probably from Torrance.
Probably
because a lot of them came right up that B gap.
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
So all right, so if you give the Bills offense a D, what do you give the Chargers offense?
I'll say Easton Michael Stick. He looked Josh Light yesterday. He looked Josh Light.
I'm like, so serious. Yeah,
what is this?
I would probably give their offense a B+. I'm short of giving them an A because they didn't win.
Wow.
Right? They didn't do enough to win. But if I'm taking into consideration how many injuries they have on that offense. Okay. If I'm taking into consideration the level of experience that Easton Michael Stick has, if I'm taking into consideration the fact that they relied heavily on Quentin Johnston in that game and Josh Palmer in that game, 2 guys who on any other team are probably on the sideline, right? But these guys are forced into action now, and they were making plays consistently throughout that game. So when you combine their play with the scheme that was drawn up that seemed to consistently work against against our defense, I have to give them a good grade.
Okay, so here's my thing. I don't care about who played, what experience. That's irrelevant to me. I'm grading you on your performance.
I will grade him on his.
I'm grading on your performance.
Okay. So you're taking coaches off the board.
I'm taking that all off the board. I'm grading on performance.
While I think about this, are you talking about just him, or are we talking about the whole offense?
The whole offense.
Because it sounds like we're going.
So all right. So here's what I'm grading on. So like if you take a test. Teachers don't want to hear, "Oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night," or "I didn't have enough time to prepare." They don't want to hear all that.
Agreed.
All I want to hear is what you do on the test.
I'm right there with you.
So here we go. The Chargers didn't have 100 yards rushing. They scored 1 touchdown on the Bills' defense in 4 quarters, and passing they had 215 yards.
223.
Well,
223. Come on now.
They also got sacked 5 times.
Okay,
that's the O-line. Okay,
so you got 250 yards passing, 98 yards rushing, and 1 touchdown. That's a fail for me for offense.
Well,
versus the Bills' offense, who had over 100 yards rushing, 200 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns.
But they also had 3 turnovers.
Correct, and that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why I think we're having that conversation that they could have. They didn't have a high grade because of turnovers. So you take turnovers away,
right? And I get it. I think what we're looking at now is the first fight between Rocky and Clubber Lang.
Well, you gotta look at it like this too. Where was their average starting position? Because like we talked about when you asked why did I not have an astronomical projection for this game? They had a lot of short fields, and to your point, they didn't score touchdowns, but that's gonna make their numbers look different. That they had 98 yards rushing.
But you could also say this though too. If that's the case, then how did they win the time of possession?
Because of the turnovers.
Well, what Keyshawn is saying is their level of success is in part due to them having shorter fields, which I get that.
Well, no, that's not. I see what you're saying, but that's not where I'm going because I'm more on your side. Okay. I'm more with you on offense. Where in terms of, if they had to go to 60, 70 yards, would they have more than 98 yards rushing?
Oh yeah.
If they had to go,
right?
Would they have more than 223 yards passing? Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm going. But I am kind of in between you guys.
Yeah. So 4 quarters of football. Your offense conjures up 1 touchdown in 4 quarters. That's a fail.
So okay, so
that's a fail for me.
Right, I get what you're saying. I think for me, it's the fight between Rocky and Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang came in with nothing to lose, and nobody expected him to win, but he did. Gotcha. Now the only difference between Clubber Lang and the Chargers is the Chargers didn't win, but they still beat up Rocky when nobody expected them to beat up Rocky. Yeah. Right? Rocky just barely pulled it out by 2 points? Yep. We won that game by, right? And we were a 12-point favorite. So if I'm looking at how good everybody expected us to be versus how we performed, that's a big drop. Winning a game by 2 points versus supposed to be, supposed to have won by 12, and then you look at the Chargers supposed to have lost by 12, only losing by 2.
Welcome to the National Football League.
No, I get you're right. You're right.
Right. So for real, like this is not Little Loop. This ain't high school. This ain't college. This is the NFL. So you can't name one team in the NFL, the best team in the NFL, who hasn't lost to a crappy team who shouldn't have lost.
The Ravens. Who'd they lose to?
Pull it up.
The Ravens?
Who's going to check it? Pull it up.
I'll look it up while you guys go back.
I was waiting for that. Pull it up.
Who the Ravens lose to?
I can mouth by it. Hold on. He's at the Ravens. Who they lose to? Somebody tell me. Hurry up.
All right. So the Ravens.
But yeah, no, I think I'm going in between you guys on this.
I hear what y'all saying, but we got to remember this is the NFL, man.
I didn't even say anything yet.
What is the NFL?
I didn't even talk yet.
Listen, you put up 3 touchdowns. You always put up 3 touchdowns. That's what I expect you to do. I'm expecting you to do that.
They lost to the Colts when Anthony Richardson was still playing.
But the Colts are not a good team.
Oh yes, they are. When Anthony Richardson was playing,
you think the Colts were good
when Richardson was playing?
Bro, Anthony Richardson was a beast, especially in fantasy. He was a beast.
Yeah. That one I give you. He was a fantasy monster. He's a fantasy monster.
You can't be a fantasy monster if you're not putting up numbers.
Yeah,
if you putting up numbers,
Yeah,
then you're doing something in the games, which means the game you're good in the games.
Yeah, you can.
I can tell you about hockey and basketball, but this football thing.
Who else did they lose to? They lost
Pittsburgh.
They lost to the Steelers.
And our Steelers are a good team.
I mean, they're 8-7. They got a shot at making the playoffs. They are an above 500 team. They are an above 500 team.
It's in your division too,
right? In their division. Yeah. So
I take those off the table.
Exactly. You can't count division games.
Who was the quarterback?
Kenny Pickett.
He's laughing. Let's see what he did. Let me go to
find out what he did.
Let me go see.
Who else? How many losses do they have?
2.
They got 3.
3? Who else did they lose to?
I didn't even go that far.
And they lost to the Browns. Like the Browns are like like their defense is Browns, like the best in how many years?
So the point of my thing is all those games that they lost, they were favored to win.
This is funny.
They were favored to win, and they lost.
Every last one of those teams are better than the Chargers.
I don't know about that.
Why? Pittsburgh is not better than the Chargers?
No.
Their record says they are.
Pittsburgh is not. The Colts are not.
What are you basing
the Browns
that on?
are.
What are you basing that on?
Who's on the team?
The fact the Ravens lost to them.
Who's on the team? Like what?
You just sitting here twisting.
What do you have on the team? Like who's your quarterback? Who's your offensive? Like I'm looking at the production of players that's on the team.
Yeah,
you would take Easton Stick over Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
What?
All day long.
You would take Easton Stick over Anthony
Kenny Pickett
Richardson.
is not over Anthony Richardson.
Okay. Well, I mean they lost to the Colts.
But Anthony Richardson, he's a rookie, but he's an up and coming rookie. So I think he's going to be good in a quarterback in a couple years. Kenny Pickett is trash.
But Anthony Richardson at this point has more experience than Easton Michael Stick, and you would still take him over Kenny Pickett?
You said he got more experience than Easton?
Yeah,
Stick?
Anthony Richardson right now has more in-game experience, more starting experience than Easton Michael Stick.
So he played more games, but Easton Michael Stick's been in the league longer.
Matter of fact, you know what's funny about that? We laughed about it. Remember? We used to say Easton Stick he's been inactive for his first 77 games of his career.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's been an afterthought.
But here's the thing though. Remember, everybody look at Pat Mahomes. He didn't play his first year.
But that was by design. They knew that.
Yeah.
So,
Alex Smith was still on the team.
Whether it's by design or not, it is what it is. He didn't play his rookie year.
He wasn't supposed to, though. That's my point.
That's what I'm saying, though. So, all right, so Easton Stick, you ain't playing behind. You're not playing either. You got Justin Herbert.
Yeah, but Mahomes is a first-round pick. Easton Michael Stick was like nobody. He was a nobody.
But still, he's not. He's playing a front of, like, he got Justin Herbert, a first-round pick. You're not playing over him.
He wasn't drafted by the Chargers, was he?
Who?
Yeah,
No.
Easton Michael Stick.
No, I'm talking about Herbert.
No, I get what you're saying, but you're saying Herbert was in front of Easton Michael Stick.
Right.
But Easton Michael it's not like Easton Michael Stick was drafted to the Chargers and then they drafted Herbert to play in front of him.
Right.
Like Easton Michael Stick was signed
Easton
to the
Stick
Chargers.
is the equivalent of Shane Bussell.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly.
No, I think he's better than that.
I hope so.
I think he's better than that.
We've seen that he's better than Bussell.
Well, we don't know what Bussell can do.
Right, exactly. We don't need to know what he can do. He can stay on the practice squad.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I just for me the entire offense includes the players and the coaches, and that's how I ended up with my grade, because when you look at the paychecks, right? The paychecks for offense goes not just to the players, but it goes to coaches too. And the head coach is a big part of that, because the head coach has the final say on what gets done in the game on Sundays. So
I'm gonna go with just to go back to it. I'm just gonna go with. I said a C- for the Bills. I say a C for the Chargers. I mean that's
for their offense.
Their offense. I'm gonna say a C. Because like Mel said, they weren't great, but like you said, look at who they had on the field.
Right.
Look at. I mean,
they weren't supposed to give nobody problems.
I will have the same grade for the Chargers. I'll give them a C.
Yeah.
Okay.
But since they put up one touchdown, the Bills put up 3. By statistical data, the Bills have to be better than them because they put up more points and they won the game. Offense got to be better than them.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Wait. Okay.
They got to be.
Let me ask you this.
If we play basketball,
when we played Miami last year, in Miami. Were we not the better team?
We were the better team.
We lost.
Well, we lost. That's
we had
what I'm
400
saying.
yards of offense in that game.
This is what I'm
500
saying.
yards.
This is what I'm saying.
500 yards.
This is the NFL.
But what I'm saying is,
but you can't have it both ways, though, because now you're saying this is the NFL when the Bills lost, but when when the Chargers almost beat us.
What I'm saying is, just because a team is favorite, don't expect them to win. Like they're supposed to win. every game. Because they not.
And we predicted that.
Right,
They not.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to give the Chargers offense credit for playing above their standard. You know what I'm saying? And you're saying that, you know, the Bills were still the better team in the game because their stats were better.
And, so I'm looking at touchdowns. You can't win without scoring. So if your offense,
you can't pick and choose certain pieces. You have to take a look at the whole product.
I'm talking about the whole offense in general. If your offense scored 1 touchdown and my offense scores 3 touchdowns, which one's better?
I mean, if you're only basing it on that, again, I can't answer that based on just touchdowns because I have to consider that our offense gave up 3 turnovers and their offense didn't.
This is the Jordan versus Kobe debate. Who had more rings?
In essence,
this is head to head though.
I know Jordan versus Kobe. Who had more rings?
No. I mean, like,
is better.
No. Like directly.
Yeah,
like Kobe didn't play in the era that Jordan played in, so you can't really.
What I'm saying is GOAT debate. We're talking about.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's that though, because like, and I get where you're going. Thank you for that. But I think in this case, it's. And I get the touchdowns. I get comparing the stat for stat. I get that. Mm-hmm. But 2 things for me. You have to include the eye test, and you have to be able to justify the time of possession, because oftentimes the team that has the time of possession typically wins. Correct. And in this case, they didn't, right? So if we're looking at just, you know, 1 or 2 stats to say which team, you know, would have been was how should I say this? Which team was better as opposed to which team was supposed to be better, then you can't really arrive at an objective conclusion at that point, because you're not taking into consideration all of the negative and all of the positive, right? So for as good as the Bills' stats were, they still had 3 turnovers. Mm-hmm. And for as bad as the Chargers' stats were, did they have any turnovers?
No turnovers.
Right. They had 0 turnovers. So when you also take into consideration all of the injuries and how bad the Chargers offense was supposed to be, that offensive line was not supposed to play as good as they were against our defensive line. They weren't supposed to. That entire Chargers offense was not supposed to play that good, but they did, right?
Right.
And the Bills offense was supposed to play way better than they did, but they did not. Yes, their productivity stats were better, but their performance stats as a whole, when you give up 3 turnovers and the other team plays, you know, from the eye test, the Chargers were playing better football with, and when you don't have turnovers, you're essentially playing almost perfect football. And you had the time of possession, which means that for most of the game, you were in control of the ball, right?
Right.
So all of that tells me that the Bills won this game in spite of themselves. Right. And when you win a game in spite of yourself, I can't in all good conscience give you a great grade for that, because you put yourself in the hole that you got yourself out of. They talked about this on Speak. They asked the question, do you trust Josh Allen now? And Sam Acho was saying, I can't trust I can't trust Josh Allen just yet, because I'm still in the ditch that he put me in. When he gets me out of the ditch, then I can begin to trust him. And I think that's what I'm looking at with this game, you know, where I'm saying, okay, yeah, they pulled it off, but they put themselves in a ditch first.
And the funny thing you say that, I wrote in my notes, is one of the most nauseating things about this game was depressing, and they're playing a depleted Chargers team at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Where we're worried about who has the ball last. We're worried about the touchdown that wasn't.
Exactly.
I'm glad that they didn't score, because you need to I don't want to hear that against the Chargers team.
Exactly.
And that's the biggest thing about why when I'm playing against a team, they might have been B, they might have been A, they might have been whatever. But when I hear that, when we're a playoff team looking at trying to win the division versus the team,
I was thinking it. I didn't need to hear. I was thinking it. Like that was
no. I mean, but when the national, but we're fans.
Yeah,
when the national media says this,
yeah,
it's subjective. It's not even something that they feel with emotion. It is what it is. Right. It's like, oh, I'm glad they didn't. I'm sure Buffalo's glad they didn't score there. No, I'm not glad, because I'm supposed to defend on my defense to stop them and win the game.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about. We're not playing against Mahomes. We're not playing against Burrow. We're not playing against Lamar Jackson. We're playing freaking Easton Stick.
Okay,
and you worried about who has the ball last.
All right, so with A's point, so I do agree with what you said about the preparation and how you said the eye test. Because, again, I understand now because you're factoring that in. I'm not factoring that in. So that's cool. But to your point about the turnovers, if you have an offense who doesn't have any turnovers and you got an offense who has 3, who is supposed to win? So you can't say, hey, this team played complementary football because they had no turnovers. You had no turnovers, and you had the ball longer, and you still only put up 1 touchdown versus the Bills who committed 3 turnovers and still put up more touchdowns than your offense.
But I can say this, too. I can say this, too. We got 3 turnovers, only scored 24 points. We got 3 turnovers and almost lost the game. We against a team that has no business playing against us. By 2 points, we won that game. By 2 after 3 turnovers.
I was gonna say, like, the question I would ask if I saw those stats where one team had 3 turnovers and just barely won, I would say, well, the other team must be playing amazing defense. You know what I'm saying? Because that means that if I had 3 turnovers and the team that didn't have any turnovers, still lost. Well, I mean, my defense must have been playing great. You know what I'm saying? And again, I do give the Bills credit for, the amount of injuries that they had and the fact that they came up in key spots. Again, I'm going to give should we move on to defense? Or
I was going to say, I'm glad you said the defense. That's a perfect segue over to the other side.
I'll just say it. I think the defense needs to get an A for the way that they played with the amount of injuries that they sustained before the game and throughout the game and coming up big in key spots. And when they expected to dominate that offensive line and didn't, everybody still found a way to make something happen when it needed to happen, like when it absolutely needed to happen. I'm talking about fourth quarter, crunch time, they made a way. Ed Oliver made a way. You know what I'm saying? To me, that is big boy ball. You know what I'm saying? So A+ for all of that because you didn't force a turnover. Yeah, they were getting big plays on you and stuff like that, but you stuck with it. You worked your way through it, and when it counted the most, you came through.
All right, so this is when you guys can gang up on me. Don't care. Happens all the time.
Let's get it.
The defense.
Don't care.
The defense, I'm giving them a C. I'm giving them a C.
Wow.
Because, I mean, yeah, you're right. They came up in big moments, but what about the rest of the game? What about, as we said earlier, the open passes, the rushing? I mean,
so
this is a game
don't think the injuries during the game had anything to do with it?
We've talked about how I feel about that as well. When you're playing against a team like this, your backup should be able to step in and if you and we're going coaching and players, right?
Yes.
If you have backups in there, you have to tweak your philosophy a little bit or your play calling a little bit. If he did, fine. If he didn't, I don't know. But my point is, when you're playing against this team, you're playing against this line, you're playing against this depleted situation, you need to be a dominant team. You need to dominate even still. And it's not even that they were getting run on because the D-line is depleted. It's not they're getting past them because the cornerbacks were missing. They all were there for the most part. Von Miller even got his season high. This is the third highest snaps out percentage he's had since he's been a Bill. He had 34 snaps this game. But the point is, Christian Benford did play. Rasul Butler played. Bernard played. Dodson played. They all were on the field for the majority of the game. And to tell me that who were their wide receivers? They had, I don't even know who. Obviously we know the number one.
Josh Palmer, Johnston.
Yeah, Johnson, and that's the only one that I can think of. But they were Easton Stick was getting off for 200, and we all predicted whether it was a blowout, whether it was closer, we all predicted that they weren't going to score points.
Right.
And whether they scored touchdowns, whether they scored field goals, they had 5 field goals?
Yeah.
Yep. 5 field goals.
That's unbelievable to me. That's mind blowing to me. Because that means they put up points on almost all of their possessions outside of the punts and the end of the game.
Right.
I can't have that when I'm a team trying to make a move in the playoffs against an inferior offense. I don't care who's playing. You put the team together.
Yeah.
You put these players on the team, and you put them on a team knowing dang well they might play. And for me, what I saw, we got 5 sacks, but did we not see that coming? We got 10 against Sam Howell. We got 8 against Garoppolo.
Yeah.
This is Easton Stick.
I think the depth of your team, I think the way that your second and third stringers perform is a strong indicator of whether or not you have a good scheme or not.
Right.
I think if you can take the starters out of the game and put another guy in that position, still have him perform well, then you have an elite scheme. Because at that point, doesn't really matter who you put in
Plug
there,
and play.
as long as they have a certain level of traits that you need to have a certain level of efficacy in your defense, you're going to be just fine. But and I think we might have talked about this already too. In like this might have been like a month ago or something like that, but we talked about it on how Sean McDermott has built this defense with in his mind players who are going to be the scheme as opposed to players that are playing within a scheme. I think the scheme is secondary to the ability of the players, and that's not supposed to be the way that it is.
Right.
And I think you see the effects of that. I from that standpoint, I agree. I feel a little bit better about, like I said, the point where, when it counted the most,
right.
and can you say it still counted in the first, second, and third quarter? Yeah, you could say that. I get it. But to me, fourth quarter, when you had to have it, when your back's against the wall, when your feet are to the fire, and you come up with what you're supposed to come up with, which is 2 strong stops. I mean, for a defense that is built on the players, I have to say that's a success, because a lot of the players that are playing in this defense right now weren't supposed to be. Tyrell Dodson was not supposed to be on the field,
and he is now rated one of the top linebackers in the league.
I am going to pull what little bit of hair I have left out if I have to continue hearing that.
And you heard him say it. You heard him say it on the broadcast.
Yeah. And they sound flabbergasted, because like, where the heck did this dude
They
come
don't
from?
know who he is. It makes your boy McDermott look like a genius. But
Exactly.
I mean, this is my thing. We had 5 sacks. We had 1 quarterback hit. We had 9 missed tackles. We had no batted balls, no turnovers. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. You're right. But part of me is like, should we? Even though we went 4 of 14 on third down defense, which is great for this defense especially. Should we have been in the position that we were in at the end of the game to have them talking about the 2-minute warning and should we use a timeout and should we? That pissed me off. Because I'm sitting here with Mel watching this and I'm like, yo, I need a beer right now. I can't drink this beer, but I need a beer right now. And I was quiet. He could tell you, I was sitting there, I was just looking at it. I'm like, in my mind, my gears are just turning. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm like, if they lose this game, this reminds me of what we've seen before.
Oh, yeah.
I did not expect, I didn't care if we scored 30, 40, 50 points in the team, but I did not expect it to come down to the last second clock management. I expected full well to see Kyle Allen in the game. I expected full well to see some of the defensive players come out. I expected but we had what? We had seven penalties to their 6.
Yeah.
We had, let's see, where do I want to go here? 335 total yards. So I don't even know, without even looking, where that stands and what we've been doing this season. That seems a little low for our offense, doesn't it? 335 yards? About average.
Yeah, I'm used
average.
to seeing over 4.
That's what I'm saying. And this is against a team that I'm like, okay, we can do better. We can do better. Yeah. We should have done better. So when you look at defense, I'm holding them to the same standard. I wanted domination. I don't care so much about who's playing against them. But in this game, where the prognosticator said we were supposed to be a 12-point favorite, I expected something to resemble.
Yeah, it needed to resemble something like the Commanders game. It needed to resemble something like the Raiders game,
the Dolphins game.
Exactly.
I expected that.
Yeah.
No,
I hear you. You've moved me a notch.
Yes, you're at a B+ now.
I will give you that.
You're at a B+. That's all I can ask.
Okay.
And I also was going to give you grace because I could see where you say A, because they did stand up when they were supposed to.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like the fact they were ever in that position to begin with.
No, that's true. That's true. Mac, what you got?
C-.
Yes, we're on the same page.
C-.
We're good.
C-. Here's why.
He was ready too.
All right, so as a defense, we had 73 tackles.
I love it.
5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 6 batted passes, 3 batted passes and 6 quarterback hits.
Oh, batted passes? Or are you talking about pass breakups?
Pass breakups.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm about to say, you just disputed me right on live TV.
So now, here's why.
Without even making a face about it, or he didn't look at you, no nothing. It's like, you know what, Keyshawn, you wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I'm gonna just keep it moving though.
Here's why I give him a C+. Because a C minus. Sorry, C minus. Because yes, I agree with A's point. The scheme saved their butts, I believe. Because if it wasn't for the scheme, I think it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Right? Because like A said, the scheme is where you got these good players you could put in the backup or the third strings, and they should still be able to play and do what they're supposed to be doing, right? Now, my only issue that I had with the defense is they allowed too many average per pass. So they were averaging 9.4 yards a pass. So that's basically the first down every time he throws back.
Even
right?
if it's not even completed.
Right?
Yep.
That's not good. That's not good to me. Like, even though you held him to 1 touchdown, that's good. I like that. But again, who are your biggest threats? You had Gerald Everett, Quentin Johnson, and Joshua Palmer. Granted, like I said, we don't have our A1 guys out there, but still, you should not allow 9.4 yards attempt for the Chargers defense. Shouldn't do it. Now, running game, cool. You bottled them up. They didn't really get off on you. They got 98 yards the whole game. Not bad. Could have been better, but not bad.
Well, their run game is terrible.
Well, I was going to say for that, I think that's part of my indictment too, because Eckler had 9 yards a week before on 5 carries, so he got off on us. And it was funny because I asked when we were playing the carry, I said, should I put this bet down on Eckler getting 60 yards from scrimmage? Mel was like, nah. Who knew it was going to be Diggs that wasn't going to get the 60 yards? But you know, when we saw that, as soon as Eckler touched the ball, I was like, Mel.
Here's the thing with Eckler though. He finished with 65 yards. He only had 4.3 yards of carry. Like that's normal to me. That's what a typical running back's supposed to do.
Right.
Well,
But
James Cook didn't get that.
Huh?
James Cook didn't get that.
Right.
He didn't get it because the passing game was, and because of the turnovers, and the passing game was there. But you look at any other starting running back, what's their stat line? Right? They should have at least 60, 70, 80 yards. 4-point-something yards average. That's standard for the NFL. Again, I'm not looking at all the other stuff that's going into it. I'm a stat man. I'm looking at what did you put on paper, what did you do in the game. I don't care what your reasonings was, or I'm not here for complaints. I'm not here for excuses. What did you do when you was supposed to play? Did you play at the position you're supposed to play? Did you give off? Did you let stuff go? Did you play good? I'm grading you on your overall performance. Right, that's what I'm looking at. So for the overall performance on defense, they did some things good. So they passed, but they barely passed because they allowed 22 points.
Yeah.
Why are you allowing 22 points?
Yeah. And I think we're a lot aligned here, for different reasons, but the same reasons are the same. Yeah. I'm just like, yes.
Especially so the Cowboys, they put up what against us? What, 10?
10.
Cowboys,
10 points.
Yep.
You allowed 10 for the Cowboys, but you allowed the Chargers to do 22?
I mean, so, okay, let me ask you this. Do you think our performance against the Cowboys would have been the same if we were in Dallas?
I'm going to say no, because typically, and again, I'm a stat guy, statistically, we play better at home. And
Correct.
Dallas play better at home.
Correct. So I think I could venture to say that had the Chargers had to have come here,
I think it would have been different.
way different
I think it
story,
would have been
right?
It better have been. But I would have said the same. But
said it better have been different.
This is the thing, though. If we were talking about this game as if the opposite, if they played in Buffalo and we asked that question about what would happen if we played in L.A., would you not say, I still expect them to whoop their butts?
Well, no, and here's why, and I think this is the thing that gets overlooked the most. When you're on a short week and you have to travel from east to west,
That takes a toll on you.
it
man.
does take a toll on
takes
you.
a toll on you.
Like that's one of the reasons why, I gave him a D, but I also have to, in the same breath, give them a little bit of a break to say, yo, 5 days they had to get ready, really, and really, they didn't get a chance to rest, because if you got 5 days to prepare, there is no day off.
I mean, yeah,
you go right to Monday watching tape.
Transcontinental travel is tough, regardless whether you go east to west, west to east. I mean, it's just a 3-hour time difference is going to screw your body up, regardless.
Right. So that's why I'm looking at it like, you know what, we won the game. it's fine. Because when you go through something like that, like to me, I think this schedule for the Buffalo Bills this year has probably been one of the toughest they've had to face. Like
by far.
You know what I'm saying? Like the travel to London and the away games and the timing of everything. Like how many short weeks have we had? Like just two?
I think 2.
But we played night game after night game after night game.
And then to your point, we had 5 days. The Chargers had extra days. They had 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They had 2 weeks. So, like, they were all rested. They ready to go. They hyped. Like, yeah, Buffalo coming here.
And you can see the difference.
Now,
you can see it.
Did Staley get fired after the last game or 2 games ago?
He got fired after the Raiders game. That was 2 weeks ago.
That was on a Thursday night.
So they played the Raiders on the 14th.
So
they played the Bills on the 31st.
We were the first game that Giff was a coach of.
See what I'm saying? They had 2 weeks.
Right.
But we were the first game that Giff was a coach of, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
With 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, neither here nor there, honestly.
Really? Neither here nor there?
Here nor there.
Really? So in the NFL, where you have 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent, and you have and you're playing at home, and the team coming in has no idea what to expect, that just means nothing to you.
No, Keyshawn's like, no, you're supposed to perform.
All right, all right, Marv Levy.
No, and it's not. It's not even just a blanket statement. It's who we're playing against. It's who we're playing against. And if you would have said the same thing about Dallas or something like that, I probably would have agreed with you a little bit. But we beat the Chargers by 2 points. And that's the thing that's going to get me. We beat them by 2 points. We didn't play well. I agree with you. Well, I agree with you on defense, and I kind of side with you on offense. But it just wasn't. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. You know, whether or not we play. I mean, and when you're tired, you want to get off the field. Mm-hmm. That's when you're tired, you want to get off the ice. When you're tired, you want to get off the court. So what do you have to do? You get a stop. That's what our coach. You want to get out to in practice. Right. You want to end the drill, get a stop. And you push to get a stop because you wanted a break. Mm-hmm. They were out there just time of possession, to your point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where the turnovers? Where the sacks? It was like, they got the 5 sacks, but I wanted. Okay, go ahead. What, you got your hands up?
Keyshawn being greedy. He wanted 10 sacks, 3 interceptions.
Right.
So give me one of the two.
Let me ask you this. Watch this.
He always says it never works. I'm a tourist. I'm stubborn. Go ahead.
What's the difference between a reason and an excuse?
A reason and excuse?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. What?
No, I want you to answer the question.
I have no idea because I don't make excuses. So what you got?
He said, I don't make excuses.
An excuse is something you try to explain that you were in control of the whole time. A reason is something that you bring up or you explain that was out of your control. Okay? So here's where I'm going with this. The travel for the Buffalo Bills, out of their control.
Okay.
100%. Right? The short week, out of the Bills' control. 100%. Okay. Now, anybody will tell you, as Mac has said, that plays a factor in your energy level, in your ability to prepare for an upcoming game, which affects your level of play in the game. Right? So what I'm saying is, there are reasons why the Bills performed the way they did. And the way that you've been, talking about your point, it's as if, and you do say this a lot, you hate excuses. You don't want to deal with excuses. I think in this particular case, the Bills have reasons and not excuses. They have specific reasons that were out of their control that contributed to the way that they played in the game. So if I'm trying to side with the Bills and defend them, I think we have to look at that as something that kind of changes the grades or changes the perspective on the performance of both the offense and defense to a degree. Does that make sense?
No. No, because
he was right. He's a tourist.
No. Because I mean, just look at it like this. If that was the case, we wouldn't have been a 12.5 point favorite. If that was the case, this travel would not be allowed.
All right, hold on.
If there's a reason.
Yeah, listen. I do a lot of sports betting. Okay, that's Vegas all day. They make those for a reason.
Right.
You look at that's a big point. They know it's not going to be that high. They doing it to entice you to bet.
Right.
They doing it to entice you.
All right. But my point is this. If you're gonna do, and I'm not a bettor like that. So if you're gonna do 12.5, don't you want to entice people by making it something that's palatable, somebody actually can hit?
No,
If I look at that and say 12.5, I'm not pushing that button because I'm like, I don't know. Because and plus
you will push the button because after they whoop Dallas, you like, oh, they about to steamroll.
Exactly.
No, see me when I do it, I don't go on anything that high unless I'm betting the under.
Okay.
If I'm betting the underdog, fine. But I'm like, they not beating them by 12.5. I'm gonna bet on the Chargers. That's what I would have did.
Right.
So if Vegas, if more people think,
but not everybody thinks like that.
I know because there's some
more people think about like what I said.
You
just whoop the Cowboys. They about to steamroll the Chargers.
Exactly.
See, I thought they would, but this is my point. When I'm looking at when I'm thinking about how Vegas does the odds, they want people to actually give it a thought. Because
they don't.
The plus minus, the negative money. It was like what was it? It was a negative 12, but what was the hit on it?
So it was negative 12, then it should have been like negative 300 or 400.
Negative 300 or 400
for the money line for the Bills.
Right.
But like the spread is it's going to be like minus 100.
No, I know, but like minus 100 or so.
Yeah.
So if I see that, I'm like, why is it so even? A 12 in my mind, I'm like, okay, there's no way in the world the Bills are going to cover this 12.5. If you're thinking about like you are when they're going on the road, they have a short week, blah blah blah. I would think that they'd be like, okay, let's sucker them, let's make it 9.5 or something like that, and that way we'll get people to spend more money on. Oh yeah, the Bills they're going to cover. And we get our money back. 12.5 to me, I'm like, everybody's betting the under. It's not gonna happen. That's the way I looked at it. It ain't gonna happen. But
I get that. I think you have to look at it like this though, and
so, you might be right. Yeah.
So marketing 101, and y'all might notice, y'all might not. I don't know, but I'm about to give everybody that's watching some free
gems. Free gems.
Here we go. Marketing 101. When I'm trying to create a product to sell to you, numbers don't matter at all. You as a consumer could care less about the statistical performance of my product.
Right.
What you really care about is how you connect with it emotionally. Because if I can get you to start thinking about how heavy your problem is, if I can get you to start thinking about how loathsome your problem is, if I can start to get you to think about how stressful your problem is, and then I bring my product right up to you and I says, you know what? All those emotions you feeling, this will get rid of all of those. You'll buy it in a heartbeat.
How much?
Exactly. And that's exactly what Vegas does with their numbers.
Have no emotion?
They create,
You shouldn't have no emotion?
No.
I mean,
he's saying like when
I know.
No, he making a joke like because he ain't got no emotion.
It's a joke, but I mean in my mind because I deal with stocks and things like that, and I need to see the numbers. I need to see what have you done, what is the trend, what are you bringing in, what is my value. If I'm buying something like you say,
but you're also part of the smaller populace that thinks that way.
I know, and that's why I'm like when you said I got, I'm like no, you don't, because I know I'm just wired weird. So
no,
you're right.
Not.
You're right.
You're a thinker.
I am very analytical.
You're an analytical thinker.
T tells me shut that off all the time.
She
hates that about me.
I think all we're trying to say is as far as the Vegas numbers and as far as what any major organizations or companies do is they cater to the larger populace.
Right.
And the larger populace of people are they're indoctrinated into this emotional, fly by the seat of their pants and whatever appeals to them at the moment they go with. Like that's the social media effect that is taking place on society nowadays, and it started a lot earlier than social media, but social media is like the
it's been like that
since the whitehead on the pimple. You know what I'm saying?
It's been like that since the beginning of time, honestly. How you're saying it, because you think about what was it called, snake oil and stuff like that they sold back in the Western days, and going back to bartering days, it was always something that this will get you away from the plague, this will beat this, this is a cure-all. So of course everybody, they live in fear, or they buy because of the unknown, or oh wow, this is a game changer.
If you understand that, why you ain't just agree?
I did. I said you're right.
No, I'm talking about before that.
Then I said that's why I said you saying I have no emotions, but you're right. That's why I said that. I gotta give you a hard time. You do it to me all the time. I gotta give you a hard time.
You know what? We about to be late getting out of the show. We got to get to the front five. Y'all good on defense?
I don't know. Do we? Sure. Okay.
No, I'm not rushing. Do you have any more?
You rushed me now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we all.
You said? You said A. You said C minus. Okay. Yeah. C. All right. Okay. Front five. Go ahead. Front five.
Oh my gosh!
This,
All right.
this is what I bring to the table. You see that?
Yeah, I see. All right, so it's time for the front five. This is our segment where we get to 5 thought-provoking questions. I am going to ask these wonderful gentlemen here. We'll start with the first question. Question number 1 is, how do you interpret the win against LA?
You go first.
We already kind of talked about how I interpret. I interpret it as a weak win. It was a very weak win to me. A very weak win. So yeah, I just don't, like last week. I don't bring anything away from this game. I'm not going to bring anything away from any game until we play in the playoffs. You know, if we win, I expect to win next week. I expect to win against the Dolphins. So it just was a game. It was a game I was disappointed in.
Okay, Mac.
So me, I don't care how we win, as long as we win. I don't need to blow people out 55-1 or 3 or whatever. As long as we win the game, that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, the teams who won the Super Bowl, they don't go back to say, you know, they almost lost to them Cowboys. Or they played really bad to the Ravens. They don't care about that. Why? Because you won.
Yeah.
So to me, they won. It wasn't pretty, but they won.
I think
I'm getting ready for the playoffs, but I do want to highlight my man, Playoff Gabe, number 13.
Cut his mic.
Balling out,
Cut his mic.
Playoff Gabe,
cut his
getting
mic.
ready. Playoff Gabe.
But no, to your point, I think obviously I want to win because, like you said, nobody cares about how you win.
Right.
But I think when I see a win, I'm like, okay, how good are the Chargers in relation to the Ravens, who we might play? How good are the Chargers in relation to Kansas City? What if we take something from this Chargers game? That, I just realized your hats match.
They're a little different. They're a little bit different. His
he has a rounded
blue.
brim.
His
Huh?
blue is his eye is blue.
Well, I mean, he kind of penciled that. Wait, what are yours?
Mine white.
I penciled what?
What is yours? Yours is black?
No, mine's is white.
No, you have dots on there.
No, so the
other side.
open spots are red. So between the
On
tail
that
is
side, you got an open spot as well.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
eye is red,
Okay, I
and
can't. When
between
you
the
turn,
tail
I can
is-
see it.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
fine.
my eye hole is blue.
Your eye hole is blue.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
But
the air sign is
You
white.
like the eye
he's
hole?
got eye holes. But no, to make it real fast, when I look at a game and I grade it. I grade it based on future games that we could play, performances that we might need later on. So like we said, C and C and C. It bothers me because if we take a C into a good team, then we're gonna walk out with tears in our eyes.
Okay. Mac?
Every good team we play up to their par, if not better. That's one thing. That's why one thing that for me with the Bills, I'm never worried because we'll never play a bad team, a good team bad. Never. When have we ever played a really good team bad? Minus the
Bengals.
The Bengals game.
Yeah.
However, there's some.
Are you talking about
there's some
just
stuff
this
on
year,
that,
or are you talking about total
like this year with like McDermott?
this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, this year we haven't played any good teams bad.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
in years past, the Chiefs, the Bengals, so
Really? The Chiefs?
Chiefs, they never whooped us.
the Chiefs in the playoffs, it wasn't a whooping, but we weren't in that game. Not the 13 seconds game.
You talking about the first time we played the Chiefs, the AFC
first
Championship?
of 1,000? I don't know. One of them.
Easy
Honestly, we played.
there, easy.
No, I mean we played them 1,000 times. I don't know which is which, but yeah, I can tell the early ons with the Chiefs they weren't pretty. That's why we started to be obsessed with the Chiefs because every time we played them, we knew it wasn't going to be a thing.
Yeah, to my recollection, there's only 2 games that I think we were like outmatched, which was the AFC Championship game and the Clyde Edwards-Helaire game, where they rushed for like 200-something yards in that game
That could
because
have
we
been
kept
one.
playing.
But then we were close in that game, though.
Huh?
Then we were close in that game, though, weren't we?
We were.
Yeah,
We were. I mean, they
in that
wound up
game.
winning finally, but we were.
They blew us out
were close.
on the ground, but I think because they didn't have any passing yards. That's
Right.
because that was McDermott said we wanted them to run.
Yeah.
And I think it was
Well,
score
they
was
did.
closer than, the score was
Yeah, they
closer
did.
than they thought.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead. Let me derail it.
Okay. All right, so we'll get to question number 2. What's the safer bet right now? The Bills win the division or the Bills secure a wild card spot?
Division.
Division?
I'm gonna say wild card.
Really?
I'm gonna say wild card because I expected the Dolphins to lose against the Cowboys. I figured the Cowboys would be mad for getting whooped by us, and they're like, "Nah, we ain't gonna do that twice to AFC East. We gonna come back with a win. We gonna come back with a strong performance," and they didn't. So I was fully expecting Miami to lose that game, and they won that game. So
Okay.
I don't know, man. Like,
Wait, what about because the Dolphins got to play the Ravens this week?
they got to play Ravens and they play us. So they might could beat the Ravens, man.
Really?
Where's the game at? Is it in Baltimore or is it in Miami? That would be to me. That's the difference
right
maker.
Now,
I can look it up.
Right now, they are at Baltimore.
That's gonna be a tight game.
It's gonna be a tight game.
Tight game.
Wow. So
Mark my words, Sonny. It's gonna be a tight one.
All right.
No,
y'all know where to put y'all money at.
I don't, because it's probably like a plus 12 and a half, and I'm going to freeze up.
Just call Mac whenever you need to place a bet, okay? Don't call me because I don't even bet money. I hate losing money so bad it's not even
Me too.
funny.
So I'll put like $2 bets on everything.
Yo, if there's a $2 bet where I could win like $100,000,
Yo,
let me know.
Speaking of which, did you see that?
What?
The guy yesterday
No.
on a $5 bet, he won $490,000.
What?
Yeah, he had like did you see it?
I didn't see it, but
He
I've
had- it
heard
was-
of those bets before.
No, it was all. He was waiting on Christian McCaffrey to
It was like a
score touchdown.
parlay or something like
Yeah,
that?
it was like a 16 leg
The
every
parlays.
anytime scoring parlay. Gabe Davis and some other
Yeah.
people.
Listen, those parlays they make me mad because I'll have like a 15 or 12, right? And they all hit but one.
I've never built a 15 leg parlay. The most I've ever done is like 4. I told you, I'm a fraidy cat.
Now people say, well, you hear that, it sounds like how do you do that? But it's not that difficult. Basically, you just take like 2 parlays per game.
Right.
Like, for example, is Josh going to get an anytime touchdown? Obviously. Click. Right? Usually, does Christian McCaffrey get a touchdown? Obviously. And then you go to another game. Is Lamar Jackson going to run for more than 20 yards? Duh. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of those are really easy.
See, the thing is,
but it's those ones that, is CeeDee Lamb going to go over 80? He's supposed to, but he didn't.
Right.
Or is Tyreek Hill going to ball out? He got hurt. Or,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's those one or
That's the thing.
twos.
When I start seeing too many lines, I'm like, oh hell no! So what is he gonna miss? Which one? I'm like, erase it all. Just read it off.
Right.
Just
Start
let me
over.
go. Because when I see like James Cook over like 40 yards, I'm like, bet. But when I see James Cook for 65, I'm like, no. Is Steph Diggs going for over 75? No, I don't know. I'm gonna erase it, close out the whole app. But yeah, no. To your question about what was this question?
Safer bet.
Safer
Bills
bet.
win the division or Bills secure a wild card?
I say division.
I said wild card. I'm sorry, I said division because it's easier for them. There's less math involved in them winning the division than there is a wild card.
True.
If the Dolphins lose, if we win out, which we have the Dolphins and Patriots, if we don't beat the Dolphins and Patriots, especially the Patriots,
I could see us losing to the Dolphins in their building. Don't kill me for that.
I could see. Well, I could see.
We did it last year.
That go either way, but
Turnovers will make if we turn the ball over, like for example, if this was the Chargers game, we probably lose by 2.
yeah,
The other thing
To
too
Miami.
is since Jalen Ramsey's been on the team, they've been the number 1 defense in the league.
that's fine. I mean, I can see a world where we win out, as opposed to. You know, the Steelers, if we lose one, the Steelers win both, we're out. If who was the other one? Indianapolis, if they win 2 and we lose 1, we're out.
Right.
Either one of those things happen. You know, if A and B and C happen, it's too much math. I don't have the kind of time to think about it. Just give me the win out. That means we beat the Dolphins. That means we beat the Patriots, and we win a division.
Yeah. I think I agree with that. I think for me it's the division. I think when you look at the Dolphins having to go into Baltimore and beat that team after what I saw the Ravens do to the 49ers, that defense is good enough to shut down that Dolphins offense. At the very least, shut down the run and force them to be one-dimensional and pass. And I think they have a stalwart safety in Kyle Hamilton that can make plays when they need it. So if I'm looking at the Ravens' ability to score points and keep points off the board for the other team, I would take that bet. I would definitely take the Ravens to win that game.
You think they can shut down Tyreek Hill?
I don't think it's so much about. Well, I'll put it like this: if Sean McDermott can shut down Tyreek Hill every time they play him, I think somebody else can figure out how to do.
So
that.
you know what's funny about that? The only people who can shut Tyreek Hill down was the AFC East.
Really?
He don't go off on the Patriots. He don't go off on Buffalo.
That's
and he
true.
Don't go off on the Jets.
That's true.
That's crazy. Everybody else, 150, 200, 210, 205.
Yeah. I mean, the Ravens did give up some pretty big plays to Deebo Samuel. That if it was Tyreek Hill, he might be gone.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
that
You know what I
goes
mean?
into what
That's
we were
what I'm
talking about
saying.
when we were discussing Indy versus the Ravens versus the Steelers.
Yeah.
It's a division, so almost all bets are off when you're playing a division.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so like you said, point period. Tyreek Hill can go off on anybody but his division.
AFC East,
Right.
Belichick, McDermott, and
Salah.
They not having it.
Yeah.
Not on us.
Not on us. We've seen this movie.
Right. We know what you're going to do.
And plus, the thing is, that's the thing too. They know not only what you do, but they know what the other teams do in the division,
Yep.
and how they stop you because they
Exactly.
watch you all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, for me, I think I have to agree with Key on this one. I think the division is for everything that you're going to need in order to secure a wild card spot. Even though I think it was kind of, you simplified it a little bit, right? You said the Dolphins needed to just lose one game.
If they
right?
lose one and we win out, yeah, then we win it.
All right, so I got a question. What if let's say Miami beat the Ravens and we beat New England, but we beat Miami in the end? Do we tie?
Say it again.
No, we still. I think so.
That's the question.
So the Dolphins are at. Hold on.
So I said if the Dolphins beat the Ravens,
No,
and
so-
we beat New England, and then if we beat Miami, are we
win it.
tied?
No, because
win it.
right now the Dolphins are 11-4.
And
So
plus, we had a tiebreaker over the Dolphins in the division.
What would our record be?
the best we can be is 11-6 right now.
Yeah,
That's the best we can be. If the Dolphins win one more game, we can't get ahead of them record-wise, which means regardless if we beat them twice in the
I
same
got
season,
you.
they
So it
still
don't
have a
matter.
better record.
So as long as if they beat the Ravens, it's over.
It's over. It's over. We have to count on the wild card.
So y'all think it's better chance that they beat the Ravens or they not beat the Ravens?
Yeah, I think it's a better chance that they lose to the Ravens
Oh,
in
okay.
Baltimore
Got you.
rather than having to depend on the Colts, the
Steelers,
Texans,
the
the
Colts,
Steelers,
Texans.
like all of them to lose. You know what I'm saying?
Do
Like
again what they
that's-
did this weekend.
That's
Nah,
like
I'm
playing a
good.
parlay. Like
I'm
you
good.
just
But right
don't
now,
know.
though,
Talked about that already. I ain't doing it.
So if we beat the Patriots and let's say we lose to Miami, we're still in the wild card.
Not necessarily.
No, yeah,
Not-
no,
and that's
we
where it
still
gets
have to.
murky.
We still have to depend on other teams
Mm-hmm.
because we
I
lost.
thought we 6 right now.
Huh?
I thought we were in 6th place right now.
Right now, but if,
Yeah.
if those other teams win, tiebreakers.
Right, because at that point we'll be 10-7 for the season, right? And then you have, the Colts are at 8-7 right now. The Texans are at 8-7. The Steelers are at 8-7. The Bengals, who are at number 10 and still have a 23% chance to make the playoffs, are at 8-7. I mean, it's still conceivable. Like the Raiders and Broncos are not eliminated.
Right.
Like they can still take the division from the Chiefs.
Right.
But how can the Colts beat us?
Who?
How
The
can the
Colts?
Colts beat us?
So if we go 10-7, and so for the Colts, they're
They
already
went out.
in.
Yeah.
They're in the number 7 seed. What we're looking at is the Texans, Steelers, and Bengals. The Bengals beat us,
Right.
right? And the Texans, I think they have a better AFC record
Oh,
than we do.
The better conference.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's what killed us. We did terrible.
Same thing
in-
with the
in
Steelers.
conference.
They got a
Same
better
same thing with the
conference?
Steelers. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's only the Texans and the Pittsburgh we're worried about then.
Well, no, the Bengals too because they actually beat us.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the hunt. They're not in the spot.
Correct.
Got
So the
you.
Texans, Steelers, and Bengals are not in the playoffs yet. The Texans are 8, Steelers are 9, Bengals are 10. Raiders and Broncos we don't really have to worry about unless they somehow win the division from the Chiefs. Because then what that does is that pushes the Chiefs into a wild card spot, which might push us out.
Yo, so the Raiders will win the division?
Could.
Yeah, they can.
Wow, with Aiden O'Connell?
The chances of
Yeah.
that happening probably are not that great. but
It's pretty low.
yeah. But
It's
it could
pretty
happen
low.
still.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, if I'm looking at it that way, I
Just win, baby.
Right, just give me the division. Give me the division at that point. I'll take that. Okay, so let's move on to question number 3. After being on the hot seat after the Eagles game and the Tyler Dunn report coming out, has Sean McDermott done enough with 3 consecutive wins against tough opponents to earn your trust back?
Well, I guess I don't think his trust ever left. So,
So here's my thing with McDermott. I'm not worried about the season. It's the playoffs for me. Because he's never got over the hump. Right? The highest we've been was the AFC Championship.
Yep.
So that's my thing. Like, I know you're going to get us there, but when we get there, what are you going to do?
Right. So okay, let me ask you the sidebar real quick. Side note. If Side note. If Sean McDermott makes the AFC Championship game again and loses, where does that put you relative to Sean McDermott? Do you want him to stay? Do you think a change is needed because he just can't win the big game?
So it would have to see why we lost that game. Like, did we lose a game because he made a bad decision? Did the ref screw us, or did our players not execute? Because if it's McDermott, then all right, then maybe we're starting to look elsewhere. But if it's a botch call that was missed, or if our players don't play up to par, like we got turnovers and drops and they don't look good, then maybe you should get thinking about, trade or get some more people in here who can do what they need them to do in big time decisions. Kind of like what we said about having Cook and Dalton Kincaid going in the playoffs that they've never been there before. Like, can we trust them that they're going to do what we need them to do versus Stephon Diggs, who has the knowledge and he's been there before. He's got the experience. He knows what to do. Right. Josh has been there a bunch of times. He knows what to do. So I would say it would depend on how they lose the game.
Okay. Keith?
But, yeah, if they lose the game because of him, might got to think it's McDermott.
So, okay, so let me make sure I understand this right. So are you because there's an inference in there that I picked up on when you talked about how if the players play bad, then it's not on Sean. Are you essentially saying that players' performance doesn't really reflect coaching?
So all right, so for me, it all depends. Like, scheme wise, if it was a bad scheme, that's on McDermott.
Okay.
Right? If it's a bad call, that's on McDermott. But if we lose because somebody dropped a pass, I can't blame McDermott for that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Key, what you got?
This dude's going to send me an emotional breakdown here. But the thing is, up until a point, I think it was right after the Broncos game, I was like, I'm done with this dude. Mm-hmm. I defended him. I said,
did you, boy? Did you?
I was not pro McDermott, but I wasn't anti.
Okay.
And I think I kind of was a bridge between Aramis and the folks watching at home when it came to the McDermott look. The way his perception was. But after the report came out, we saw a different guy. After the 3 wins, I guess we saw a different guy. But the Cowboys, after us, they didn't play well this week. They didn't play well against us. The Chargers, they were okay, but obviously we should have won differently. So I don't think I don't think it really moves the needle for me whether or not I trust McDermott or not. I think the team was hitting on all cylinders because they're hot right now. I think watching the rest of the season, how it plays out. Do we get into the playoffs? Where do we get into the playoffs? Do we win a division? Why do we win a division? That all plays a part in how I feel about McDermott and his sentiment. Because the team in itself is good enough to make the playoffs.
Right.
I don't think it takes a lot of coaching to get this team to where they should be. Like you said, they've been here. They've been there before numerous times. But how far do they get? And I have to look at, too, to Mel's point, did somebody drop a pass? Why is it so close? Why is it scheme? Is it scheme? Are we not performing? Why is it so close for that to even matter? This is not Ronnie Harmon. This isn't something like that where if we're playing the Chiefs, who we played over and over and over and over and over again, we built our team for the Chiefs. You put your stamp is on this team beating the Chiefs.
Right.
If we lose to the Chiefs again, I can't deal with you no more. We lose to the Bengals again we're not probably won't play them, but if we lose to the Bengals in a situation like we did last year, where we don't even belong on the same field with them, I got a problem with you because you've seen this before, And Joe Burrow, even if he's back, I don't even know if he can come back, but if he is back, you know how to play Joe Burrow, you know how to play against Joe Mixon. You've seen him before, so why didn't you come up with a game plan that suits this team? So there's a lot of factors involved there, but I think McDermott can get us to a place, and I think that if he listens to the other moving parts of this thing, I think we can go further than we have before.
Okay. So I'll probably bring this question back up in a couple of weeks.
Once the playoffs start.
Yeah, once the playoffs start, to see how you guys feel, and then I mean, obviously we'll see what happens from there. But I think for me, this is actually a tough question, and I know that's probably not the expected answer, but I do want to give Sean McDermott credit for just kind of owning the moment and letting his players play. I think to be in a position that he was in, that he was put in, where aspects of his life and aspects of his professional career were exposed, and he kind of had to salvage what he could and put his big boy pants on and come to work and try to be better. I think to a degree he's done that. There's still certain things that I would like to see change going forward, but I think I'm where you're at, where I need to see how it looks in the playoffs, because it's easy for a head coach to be even though they're playing right now for their playoff lives, it's still the regular season. It's not actually the playoffs, right? And in the scenario that we're in now, we technically can still lose a game and make the playoffs, right? So I think I'm with you on that one, Mac. I think I would need to see what they look like in the playoffs for me to really draw a conclusion, because if I'm going to go based on the history, then of course you would say I don't know, because he just hasn't done it, right? But with how different he's been coaching the last 3 weeks, there does seem to be a ray of hope, like a small sliver of light coming through the clouds, where it's like, maybe this is the year where he lets these guys open up in the playoffs and just go wild, right? So we'll see. We don't have a lot of time left. Let me get to question 4, unless you guys have anything else you want to. Okay. How many touchdowns does Josh and the Bills need to score against New England to remove the stench of our loss in New England?
What was last time score? What they beat us by? What was it?
Last time they played New England?
Yeah.
Let's see. We lost to New England.
So it was 25-29.
29-25, yeah.
Yeah. So we put up, 3 touchdowns on them? Is that 3 touchdowns and a field goal?
And a safety.
Yeah.
Okay. This game is in New England?
No, it's here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I would say minimum at home after the team you should have beat and they beat you, you got to put at least 30 on them.
Oh,
at least 30.
So
30
four touchdowns.
Yeah, if you don't put at least 30 on, I'm like, bro, what happened?
4 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
Because, like, listen, this is I get it. It's a division opponent, so I know those are a little tougher to win. However, because they beat us at their house and they should never have beat us, in the back of my mind, I'm still waiting on the Patriots because I owe you one. Right? And you coming to our house, I'm putting up at least 30. I should be putting up at least 30.
Okay. What you got?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I think for the Patriots, for me, if I had to answer your question, I would say we have to score. We have to score more than them, obviously. But I think for me, I think for me, when I'm looking at the Patriots, is it Billy Zappi or is it Mac Jones? Who they gonna play? Because Zappi beat whoever they played yesterday.
Zappi's the starter.
Because they got Mac Jones on.
Who do you think is
now.
better?
Huh?
Who would you rather play?
I wouldn't. Honestly, I don't even care because what I expect.
I mean, they both could have did what Mac Jones did in that one game. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, what I expect out of our defense is to, especially against a team that's got, I think, 8 people on IR right now. I want domination. I want defensive domination. So that's what I'm saying. I want it to look like the Bills are number 1. I want it to be known that we beating up on little teams because this team is in contention. Well, not anymore because they won, but they're in contention for the number 1 overall draft pick. They were horrible. Yeah. So if we're going toe to toe with this team like we did against the Chargers, I'm not going to be happy regardless if we score 50. I don't care if we score if it's 50-46. I don't care.
They should have scored 46.
I want Belichick off. I want him to be pretty much mentally checked out after halftime.
Man, so you want the playoff game from last year?
I was just about to say we need the perfect game.
Well,
back.
not the Boston perfect game, obviously, but that's just domination. Just where we won't see gimmies. I want all phases, all complimentary football, to be a dominant aspect. I want Sam Martin to be punting like he's hasn't punted this whole year.
Game.
That's the Boston. That's the Boston massacre.
Game, like I said, Sam Martin didn't punt in that game, so I want Sam Martin to punt. I want Deontay Hardy to. Yeah, I said
no.
There's no punting in football.
Exactly.
No, wait.
There's no punting in your football.
Right. But no, what I'm saying is because Sam Martin has not been a good punter. If we have to punt, I want him to punt.
I see. He's saying he want to have a 100 complete on all phases.
Yeah, I'm not saying
punts in the 10-yard line.
I want hang time. I want touchbacks.
He want the offense domination. He want a straight obliteration of the Patriots.
But how is that possible when you're punting? If you punt, that means you failed on third down.
What did they say in Little Giants? Mel knows what I'm going. Coin toss. What did he say? All right. Do you want to kick the ball off to us and we run it down your throats? Or what do you say? Or do you want us to kick it off to you, take it from you, and then run the ball down your throats? That's how I want to play the Patriots this week.
I get it, but we talking about punting the ball. That's what we talking about,
Iverson, right? We talking about punting.
Keyshawn, we talking about punting the ball.
There's
no way around that.
I see both points. You don't want it to come to a point where he even suits up to go out there for the punt. But in the case to do so, let's say we get a penalty,
if we have to,
back and we force the punt. Key said when he go out there, he better punt like his job depends on it. Like I want him in the in the red zone.
Yeah. But your words were, "I want a perfect game in all three."
No, I didn't say. I said complimentary football. That includes special teams, right or wrong. And what is in the special teams department? Punting. And if you would have let me finish, Deontay Hardy, I want him returning the ball. I don't want Leonard Fournette back there no more. I don't know.
You want playoff Lenny?
Not return. He hasn't returned a kick since 2014.
Oh wow!
So why did they have him back there yesterday?
Oh,
he returned kicks
because he didn't trust Hardy.
Hardy did dress. He got punt return.
I'm saying he didn't trust him because he fumbled.
So he put him on punt return. Leonard Fournette had the first kick off in the game.
We talking about punting the ball.
No, we're not talking. We're talking about complimentary football.
And all you took from my whole. We're talking about Sam.
Why you ask these questions if you going to pirate my stuff?
I'm not. You brought it up, bro.
I did.
I'm talking about how many touchdowns we need to score. You talking about punting the ball? What am I supposed to do with that?
Is this thing? Hello. When I answered his question, I said, I don't care because, like I said, if they score 7 touchdowns. And other team scores 6 and we win, I'm not happy. That's not going to.
Should I repeat the question?
No.
Should I repeat the question?
No.
The question was, how many touchdowns does Josh and the Bills need to score against New England to remove the stench of our loss in New England?
To answer your question, hello? If Josh and the Bills score 8 touchdowns and New England scored 7, I still am like, this ain't the team I want to see. To answer your question, there is no number.
Oh, so he don't have a number.
There is no number.
He just want dominance on all three
dominance. I don't care if we score 1. If they scored nothing, I'm good.
What?
1 is crazy. You can't just say score 1.
Oh, you're here.
You can't know.
He's here.
So wait, Key. So if it was 14-0, you will be cool with that.
14-0. Mac Jones throws for 112 yards on 38 attempts. Yes.
You have lost your mind, Keyshawn. I would say 40. Put 40 on them boys. Like what?
Nah, man. Man. I mean, at 40 is a beautiful thing, but if you telling me I can get Bill Belichick to break every phone device, every tablet,
every Surface Pro,
I am excited. And I think the lower,
but that don't happen. Wait. That don't happen at 2 touchdowns.
This goes into your saying.
That don't happen at all at 2 touchdowns.
This goes into your saying. Belichick's a defensive-minded coach, right?
Okay.
What's the game they like to play?
Low-scoring games.
Right. If he loses a low-scoring game where he can't score a point, yes, give me that. Matter of fact, 2 touchdowns. I want to see a
He wants you to mentally embarrass the man. Like mentally.
But that's not mentally embarrassing. If I lose by 2 touchdowns, I'm saying to myself, you know what? We could have won that game. We just did a few things wrong.
What's your answer?
That's what I'm saying. If I lose by 2 touchdowns, I had a chance. If I lose by 50, I had no shot at all. I'm destined to exactly. Like that's worse.
Hey, you asked me a question. I answered it. Don't lean on me.
No, you did not answer the question. question. You answer the question by purposely not answering the question.
Did I not say?
You said it don't matter what they score as long as they dominate.
That's my answer.
That is not an answer.
I can have that.
Complete domination, folks. Complete domination.
10 touchdowns. Next question.
All right, moving right along. We got 6 minutes.
What's your answer?
Huh?
What's your answer?
Oh yeah. What's yours?
Listen, they have to score at least 29 points.
Yeah.
I need to
29.
see at least 6 or 7 touchdowns.
And what if New England scores 5 or 6, and we win?
5 or 6 touchdowns.
And we win, but they score 5 or 6.
Well, that's not part of the question. The question was how many touchdowns. Okay, well then I have a problem with that. You shouldn't be giving up those kind of numbers to Bailey Zappi at home.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is we need to win by at least 30.
Win by 30.
We need to win by 30.
Okay.
We need to be 30 points ahead of whatever they score.
So even if they score 40, we need to score 70.
Exactly.
If we give up, I'm gonna walk out to if we give up 40 points and win by 30, I am going to not have a TV in my living room. Keyshawn, what about my Switch?
Keyshawn, your team won by 30.
I have no TV in my living room at this
It's not
point.
good enough.
I have the couch T just bought. It's not there anymore.
We talking to the defensive guy though.
Yeah.
The defensive guy is
Mr.
good with
Hammond,
14.
how does it feel? Your team just won by 35 points.
Dude,
but they gave up 40. Too many.
This is not college basketball. 70 to 40. Oh my God. This is not Buff State versus UB. I don't want to see 40 points.
All right, so let me ask this question.
though,
How many points would you be cool with if New England scored?
Them scoring?
Yep.
10.
Okay.
No more than 10.
Okay, so 40 to
10
10 then. You would take 40 to 10?
40 to 10 is fine.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We have our answer.
It. 10.
Yeah.
If they get over 10, Keyshawn's upset.
Okay. And that's fair.
Yep.
That's how many points I think they're going to score against us at home. I don't think they're going to do very much. But if I'm looking at this game coming up, I mean, if I'm trying to erase the stench, I need a blowout win. I don't want a back and forth. I don't want a Chargers game.
And that's kind of where you said I didn't answer the question, but I did because what you just said, that's where I was getting at. You don't want a back and forth.
I mean, I could do this.
No,
with
you don't want a
all
back
night.
and forth. Now, if we score 50 points and they score 48, it's a back and forth.
Okay.
And it still doesn't erase the stench because we didn't demoralize them. That's where I was going with that, and that's why I said I can't answer the touchdown.
But what if you gave up 40 garbage time points? Like what if you went straight Miami and
that's
you
with
had
the backups.
Nah.
Right.
He's gonna lose.
You wouldn't take 40 against your backups?
Why is their backup scoring 40 garbage time points? How
Because
many
it
points
don't
did we
matter.
score? 40 points.
We
of garbage.
scored 70 points.
So we're up 70-0. They came back 40-0.
Yes.
And you're happy with that?
Why not? Why would I care? I've scored 70 to 0 already.
They just trounced our backups.
Keyshawn.
Oh wow. Okay.
You just
Never
let
mind.
40 points in our defense?
Never mind.
Keyshawn is losing his mind right now. I just want y'all to know.
He like, you scored 40 points on us?
Oh, we were up 70-0. They just came out of 40.
Yo,
oh my God.
listen, this is how defensive minded Keyshawn is right now. You can see the veins on the side of his head popping out.
40 unanswered points?
This is insanity.
All right, let's get to the next question because we gotta go. Last question is: who do you not want to see most in the first round of the playoffs?
Keyshawn, go first.
First round.
Nah, you go first.
No, Keith, go first. Go first, Keith.
Okay. Can I preface this by I don't want to go long winded because Junie loves when I do that. But
Yeah,
without
please do
knowing where we're going to end up and who's even going to get in.
Let's just go by who's in the playoffs right now. So if the playoffs started today, right?
Yeah,
you got Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, Jaguars, Browns, Colts.
I know mine.
Go. You go. I got to think about this.
It might shock you. It might shock you.
You about to say the Colts?
No. I don't want to play the Browns.
Yo, same.
Key, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't want to see that defense at all.
I don't want to play the Browns, bro.
Cop out.
Nope.
No.
Keisha, I don't want to play the Browns, man.
That was gonna be my answer.
I do not want to play them.
That was too fast. I didn't get a chance to modulate on
Like,
this.
listen, I don't mind KC. We played them many times. Whatever. I don't
Same
even
for the
mind
Ravens.
the Ravens because we
Yep.
played them before with Lamar.
Yep.
I don't mind. My second would be Jacksonville. Because for some reason they got our number, bro. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's weird. It is weird. Like they've played bad over the last 3 weeks, longer than that. Like Trevor Lawrence has been throwing picks like crazy, but against us,
right.
they get it done somehow.
I want to say, matter of fact, the last 3 games we lost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
I think if I had to pick one, I would probably say the Ravens, and that's not even because of Lamar Jackson. I mean, I just looked at how they play at San Francisco. I know they had turnovers, but that goes into it too. Our quarterback throws them, and they capitalized on it. And Lamar Jackson and Isaiah Likely is now going into being a tight end too. OBJ, and they got
Mr.
Flowers. And that defense yesterday was really scary to me. They really were scary in what they did against San Francisco, which I do think is a more complete offense than we have. Because Debo and Ayuk outside, they can run, they can catch, they can do all sorts of things. McCaffrey as well. So looking at who they are, I guess I could see Cleveland, but without Amari Cooper, I really don't know. Who's their number 2 receiver?
You said without Amari Cooper, he playing?
No, without him. Who's their number 2?
Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
And they got David Njoku.
He's blown up since Flacco's been in.
I wouldn't say blown up when I talk about David Njoku right now.
Huh?
I wouldn't say blown up when I talk about David Njoku.
Oh man,
that's jacked up. He's going off. He has.
But that's what you call unwoke communication. Sorry about that.
But no, seriously. I won't say no to Cleveland because Cleveland is one of those teams that people don't respect. People still don't respect Cleveland,
True.
So obviously Cleveland's good, but I think we can beat a Cleveland team. I know their defense is stalwart, but I think I put them and Baltimore in the same vein. Kansas City, I'm not as worried about, even though I should be.
Yeah.
But you got Mahomes over there. They're having some kind of issues in Kansas City right now. You see Mahomes yelling at people. He's in the offensive line. Yeah. He's saying call the effing play in his head.
I love to see that though.
Yeah,
by the way, I love to see that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I have no problem with it. But but even still, I think that I think those are the 2 teams that would give us the most fits. But if you're telling me Joe Burrow and it was playing for the Bengals, I probably would still pick them. And that's why I said caveat, are we talking about anybody or just people that are in it right now?
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
Who you got, A?
I mean, it's still the Browns. If I couldn't pick the Browns, then I would say the Colts because they have a strong they got a strong run game, and Minshew is just unpredictable. Some games he'll throw for 300 yards and blow the wheels off your bus, but other days you don't know. You know what I mean? But they got a strong run game. Defensively, they're sound. And they got an offensive-minded head coach that takes chances. So that makes them unpredictable on 3rd and 4th downs. Yeah. So for me, I'm thinking about what my major weakness is going into the playoffs, and that's my run defense. I mean –
and then they got JT back there.
Exactly. And they got Zach Moss. So they can really go all day with both guys if they wanted to.
I think that's part of why I said the Ravens, because I was thinking about the quarterback escapability along with the running backs.
Yep. I mean, again, it would probably be the Colts primarily if they had Anthony Richardson playing because, he's Lamar Jackson light.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that if I couldn't pick the Browns, it would be the Colts. The Ravens, I feel like the Bills have played the Ravens so good, especially in the playoffs, because we've seen them twice now in the playoffs, and both times we've beaten them in a tight game, but we've still beaten them.
I think that they actually have a number 1 wide receiver they never had before, and they got a number 2, 1A, 1B if you want with Flowers and OBJ for the first time in Lamar Jackson's career.
Not OBJ. Flowers 100%, Isaiah Likely 100%, but not OBJ.
But he's a threat they haven't had before, though. You gotta
but
watch
he's not the same OBJ.
So he's not the same, but you gotta watch.
I see what you're saying. So he's not putting up huge numbers, but just his presence on the field.
Right. They've never had a number 2.
That's some. He's never. And that's the thing.
I see what you're saying.
Two guys you gotta watch out for because Flowers will take it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know who their number 3, their slot guy is. I really
Bateman.
don't know.
They still got Bateman too as a 1st round pick.
Yeah,
he's good.
That's something about
actually
him.
This year he's playing the second best out of all the receivers.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just tough if they hit that stride. I really got to watch how they play the next couple of weeks. But I wouldn't want to see them in the 1st round or the first after their bye in the playoffs either.
Yeah. That's why I kept it the 1st round, because obviously after that I don't want to see the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? But 1st round is still possible. If we're in a wild card spot, we could see some of the other teams that we named. Right. But yeah, that's what I had.
What if we go through the gauntlet like we did last time, because we played the Colts, it was a shootout at home with my man Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
And then we played Lamar.
Yep.
And then we played KC.
Yep.
What if that happened again? What if we get the Colts, KC, and then the Ravens?
Well, if we're
or is it impossible?
Yeah, I don't think that would. So if we win the division and we take the number 2 spot, that means the Dolphins because I think the Dolphins have already clinched the playoff spot, right?
So they already clinched the spot.
Right. So the Dolphins would move to
5. They got to be 5, right?
6, I think.
Yeah, they would have to move to 6.
Why can't they be 5?
I think it's 6.
5 is the first wild card.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I think somebody said it was 6 though. I don't remember.
Well,
don't quote me, but I think they said 6.
It depends on what the Browns do.
Right.
If the Browns, no. Actually, yeah, because if the Browns win out, they'll be at 12-5.
Really?
Yeah.
They got that many wins?
They're 10-5 right now. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if the Browns win out, they'll be 12-5. The Dolphins would have to be behind them with 11 wins.
Okay.
And then after that, you would have to be with the Chiefs, but the Chiefs beat the Dolphins, so the Chiefs might be right behind the Browns at that point.
So the Chiefs, if they win a division, they are automatic in that 4 spot.
True.
1 through 4. Same thing
So,
with Jacksonville.
Yeah, so we wouldn't see them. So the teams that we would see at the number 2 seed would be either the Dolphins or the Chiefs. Or not the Chiefs, the Jaguars. I'm just counting what teams are in right now, right? Because if we're 2 usually plays 6, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because 2
plays 7.
2 plays 7.
So 2 plays 7. So so if we made the 2 and all the teams stay the same, we play the Colts in the first round.
Yeah.
And then you can't in the second
I would
round,
take that with them coming here.
Now,
then the Ravens play whoever's the worst.
Could we play KC after?
The Ravens would play the worst, whoever's the worst team is left in the second round, and then we would play.
Well, who would the Chiefs play in the first round? 3 plays 5? Or no, 3 plays 6. Yeah, 3 plays 6 and 4 plays 5. So
the Chiefs win,
the Chiefs would have to play the Dolphins.
Tyreek Hill and rematch.
Right. Chiefs barely won that game the first time.
Yeah. They got to figure it out.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, it is about that time. It is 90 seconds of me yelling and screaming and trying to think of everything that I got to say and get it out in the 90 seconds. You ready? Here we go. Listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, if you haven't liked the Facebook page or any of the other social media platforms we're on IG, we're on Twitter or X, we're on
TikTok.
Yep, we're on TikTok. We got a TikTok page.
Spotify.
What?
Spotify.
We're on Spotify. That's right. We're on Spotify. So please go follow us everywhere that you possibly can if you love what you hear and you love what you see. We've done a lot of different things with the lighting. Hopefully it's to your liking. So we're trying to still get that right. But listen, we need more. We need more back and forth. We need to hear from y'all. We need to hear what y'all thinking during the show. Please comment. Please give us all that feedback that we need to make sure that this is the best product for you. Okay. With that being said, make sure that you like, subscribe, make that thing.
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
And please, by all means, contact us. You can message us and ask questions whenever you want. We will reply as soon as humanly possible. Okay, because I might be in the bathroom or something like that, and I might not
be wanting
to. Huh?
You on your phone?
No, that don't matter. I'm not responsible.
He is on his phone. Yes, he is.
If I'm sitting down, don't come around.
He's on his phone.
At this point, I need a few more seconds. So I'm giving myself another 90 seconds, and we're gonna see if we can get through the rest of this. Listen, we got more and more bigger and better things coming up. Okay, I'm gonna put out some polls, and this is gonna be on everybody's social media. So my personal, their personal, so whoever you close to or whoever you choose to go to, whatever. We're gonna put out a poll to kind of see how you feel about getting more episodes during the week, and see what kind of content, stuff like that. All that stuff will be coming out this week, so look for that on our social media pages. All right. With that being said, thank you for everybody that is following us on Facebook, following us on Instagram. We got 1 follower on TikTok. Again, we're still populating all the pages. We gotta figure that out too, by the way, how to get everything to transfer over. But that's the end of my spiel. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
This is Key.
Belly Mac.
And we are out.
Deuces.